Perfect. 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 Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
It was an area we identified, an interior offensive lineman. Caesar's someone that we felt, was so consistent. You could pull out any game tape you wanted to. Week 1, week 2, week 3, go back a year ago. You see his footwork. He's got exceptional power. He's got a real good, strong punch. And if you look at his hands, they're size 11 hands. So just the consistency and then the makeup with this player, it was great to have a chance to see him live. It's unbelievable to watch these guys, to see their dreams unfold right in front of the camera. And back to your earlier point, this has gone so well. And I know there's a way you're used to doing things, but I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some adjustments made, because I think the fan loves to see a little bit more of the interaction with each of these draft picks in their houses, rather than, in some setting maybe where they're all in their suits. And I just think it's been interesting. But Caesar's one of those players that we think can come in, play center, play guard. We drafted, of course, Eric last year was a center, McCoy, but those are good football players, and I think it's important to build through both your offense and defensive lines.
Well, listen, Sean, we know you're a guy that can get things done. We saw that a couple of years ago, getting through that rule change. So if you want to make sure we can do the intimacy and still have the insanity of the of the location somewhere else, we would be all for that. And we just wanted you to know if we can get on board to get that thing going forward. Now we have Zach Bond, the linebacker out of Wisconsin. Listen, he was unbelievable last year. 32, I think, combined sacks and tackles for loss for the Badgers. There was that story of the diluted sample that he let everybody know at the Combine. What did you like about him?
Well, again, a real good high makeup player. There's some versatility with this player that is a little unique. We feel like linebacker is going to be his position. He can be a designated pass rusher, someone that can help you on third down and be involved in some of your pressures. But I do think this player can play inside at Mike. I think he can play at the Sam position. He's got a great football makeup, great motor. Quite honestly, we spent a lot of time without having a second-round pick, as that round was unfolding, us trying to get back up for this player took about, a half an hour, 45 minutes, and finally we were able to make a trade, and we're glad we were able to.
And then you get Adam Troutman, the tight end out of Dayton. A lot of people surprised he was there. And, Lewis and I always talk about finding a player to be drafted in a situation and a fit that works for him. And it certainly seems like with the way you guys have run that offense over the last many, many years in New Orleans, his skill set is something that you guys can really utilize.
Yeah, and look, we've got a group of good tight ends already here, but I think this is a player that we felt did both things fairly well. He's pretty good in line blocking. You see his hips in the passing game. His three-cone drill was exceptional. You see an athletic player, and one of the things about a smaller school is sometimes you want to see him against competition that steps up. I think we've seen that a little bit from him. I thought his combine was outstanding. Again, someone that we spent a little bit of time on, and then with a third-round selection and that costing us, obviously our picks today, we're focused on free agency right now.
Well, I was about to say, unless you guys trade back in, you guys are done for the draft, and it's on to the next thing, undrafted free agents. And then really the unknown, right? Because we have the virtual workouts, although you've told your team don't worry about that, be ready and rested and come back to training camp healthy. What are your expectations for what comes next after this, Sean?
Well, look, I think gradually we've seen it around the country, and I think our league and all the sports leagues are going to pay close attention to where this is all going. I think the one concern I mentioned this earlier is, I feel like we're doing good. I mean this as a country, and we're in the third quarter, maybe the early fourth quarter. And I hate to use that example, but we're talking about taking our starters out of the game with a 10-point lead, and I feel like we've got to be smart about this. But I think our leadership will pay close attention to it. I think when the time's right, we'll be back. I think the bigger question is going to be our fans in the stadiums. That's going to be, I think, the bigger challenge. But clearly, through this spring, we've got a veteran team, and we want them focused on their families, focused on getting in shape the best they can, paying attention to their state and city guidelines. We'll have plenty of time in training camp to get these guys ready to go, and then these three rookies, along with the rest of these free agents that we signed today, they'll go through a rookie school, and we'll have meetings just like we're planning on doing. But with the veterans, we'll see those guys in July.
Well, that's Coach Sean Payton, family chiming in. Who that to the Black and Gold family members in the building. Who that to the family. Good to see y'all in the live stream. Who that to the beautiful Black and Gold family members in the building. Kind of throwing you for a loop there. Starting the show off with Coach Payton kind of just breaking down, some of the draft picks to kind of alleviate the confusion of what he's seen in some of these guys. Because a lot of people just didn't see this as a traditional Saints draft. And I don't mean that in the case of everything that's floating around in the country. It was just the most unusual draft, to say the least, because this could have been done a little differently. But, hey, I'm not running the damn team. You heard what Coach Payton said toward the end of the interview. He got kind of rambly. I told that whatever that third or fourth quarter 10-point lead shit mean, he totally threw me for a loop for that. He lost the hell out of me on that. But the only thing I can say, family, who that to the beautiful Black and Gold family members in the building, that's the focus is now on free agency, as you heard Coach Payton say. So it'll turn toward the undrafted free agent game. And that is happening right now. And you'll start hearing some of it later on today, into tomorrow, into Monday, as the Saints then sign undrafted free agents who didn't get drafted. And remember, the Saints excelled the most during this part of the draft season, getting undrafted guys. So who that to all the beautiful Black and Gold family members in the building. Thank y'all for joining us in another edition of the Sports Coma. Day 3, the Saints move back into the draft to get a QB who mirrors Taysom Hill. Tommy Stevens, I'm very familiar with Tommy Stevens, being that I'm a SEC guy. And Tommy Stevens, for the most part, was very erratic during his career. Came over from, I think, Penn State. He was there for a little bit. He transferred to Mississippi for an opportunity to play, but it had the adverse effect. He was the adverse Joe Burrow. He didn't excel there, and he did have athleticism. He did catch the ball as well. He's a big quarterback. He's 6'5", big guy, not much on accolades. So if you're looking for statistics from Tommy Stevens in terms of a quarterback, no, you're not going to get it from him. But anyway, welcome all to the Great Saints Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma. Please subscribe if you aren't a subscriber, and hit the like button big time, family. It helps out the algorithm as we continue to grow. So hit the like button. It helps out the stream. Big ups to the family members in the building. John T, GM Kevin. Kevin says, oh yeah, Tommy Stevens is a Penn State transfer. Seemed like the Saints getting younger version of Taysom Hill. And when did everything become about drafting players like Taysom Hill? When did that become about? When did that become a thing? I thought he was the franchise quarterback. You told me that you was going to sign him before free agency. Well, guess what? It's way into the literal third or fourth quarter, using Sean Payton's weird analogy. And Taysom Hill is still sitting out there with an unsigned tender at 4.67, which is the most he's made. You know, and maybe that tender, the reason why he won't sign that tender, because it's a 1-year tender, and he might be looking for a little bit more promise of competing for the QB position, maybe a multiple year deal. We'll see. Ultimately, I think he'll sign it. I don't think he will sit out the entire season. We'll see. If the Saints wanted to do something with him, they could have possibly moved him or what have you, but nothing happened. Nothing with Larry Warford as well. So let's take a look at it. 985J, who that to you? 985 Live, who that to you as well? Good to see your family in the building. Tramal, who that to you? John T says we just got used another center. Who else we got? Torrey Shepard Sr., who that to you? As well, Kenny Sutton, who that to you? Kyle Walter, who that to you? Let's see. Kenny Sutton says still some nice players out there. Plenty of nice players out there. Thad Moss is out there. Really surprised he didn't get drafted. Drew Goddamn Breeze, big ups to your family. Good to see you as well in the stream. Sean C, who that to you? Till the legend, who that to my dog Till out there as well. Superstar Louisiana boy, big ups to your fam. I see you as well. Who that to you? Fear the fans, who that to you? Good to see your family. Who that to you as well? Jason King, what up, Jason? Who that? Elite Goods, what up, Elite? Dada, my dog Dada in the building. Dallas Allen, what up, Dallas? He says, I hate being essential sometimes, but I'm off in time for the show. Again, who that? Who that, fam? Jermaine Scobie, what up, Jermaine? Who that to you? Troy, what up, Troy? Big ups to my boy Troy Thompson in the building. Gerard Stevenson as well. Big ups to your fam. Joey and Isabella, who that to the family in Florida. Damone Horton, what up, Damone? Good to see you, fam. Nola Nerd said this draft is amazing when grooming Taysom to take over the starting job. What do? You bring in Taysom 2.0 and Tommy Stevens, plus the tight end from Dayton is a beast, along with Bourne and Ruiz. Thank you, Nola Nerd. Positive sentiment from Nola Nerd. Good sentiment as well. Let's see who else in the chat. KT, what up, KT? Big ups to you. Say, so the front office goes full on Mike Dicker for a tight end and trades back into the draft for Taysom, Tebow clone, Whiskey Tango, Foxtrot. What the F? Many people wouldn't have seen that, fam, just to let you know. Jermaine says, now I feel somewhat better now about the draft. We're going to break it down, family. It's a lot to be optimistic about. Jeremy Dennis, what up, Jeremy? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. Cedric, what up, Cedric? Who that to you too, fam? Audit the Fed, what up, Audit? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you as well. Big ups to all the family members out there chiming in. And let's keep it going here. And damn, y'all just lighting the stream up. DJ, who that to you? Cliff F, who that to you? Charles Bowles, who that to you? Big Smoke Dog, who that to you? Let's see who else. We got Demi, who that to you, Demi? Good to see you, baby. Bet Decius, what up, Bet? Who that to you, fam? Let's see what else we got. Greg CTE, Greg Cross the Canal in the building. What up, fam? Good to see you. Jesse Jackson. What up, Jesse? How you feeling, fam? Shannon Roy, who that to you as well? Scoob, what up, my boy Scoob in the building. Dr. Key, how you doing, Dr. Key? Big ups to your family. Good to see you as well. Steve Owen, who that to you, Steve? Good to see you in the chat. And big ups to your fam. Heavy C, what up, Heavy C? Heavy C Henderson in the building. Cheryl, what up, Cheryl? Who that to you, baby? I see JT, what up, JT? Who that, fam? What's going on, all the beautiful Black and Gold family members chiming in the live stream for this one. And True Louise Animal, what up, fam? Good to see you as well. Now, if I missed your fam and I ain't shot you out, you know how I do. Hit the chat, say who that to me, and I'll shot you out because I know it's family members who just listen to the show. They don't hit the chat up. If you listen to the show, hit the chat, sent me a who that, I give you a shot back, baby. Everybody get acknowledgement in the Great Saints Think Tank, baby. That's what it's about. It's not just about me. It's about the fam out there, fam. Charles Bowles, who that to you? Says Zach Bond is going to be like Clay Matthews. He will play all over the field. So already forgot about Pat Queen. Who that nation, baby? Who that? Big ups to you. Sean C. What up, fam? Sean says, Greg, we signed O-line because getting at the QB is a premium in this past happy league. Need protection for our aging QB. Keyword is aging. Thank you, Sean. Nolan Nurse says Peyton lit it up in the draft like pigskin. Bet Decia says, yeah, Bet. Lamar Jackson from Nebraska is still available. I'm surprised that he ain't go either. Okay, we got a new subscriber, NO Links, and NO Links. If I'm saying that, No Links, is that Nolan's in the building? Thank you, Nolan's, for joining the Great Saints Think Tank. Do like Nolan's did, family. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button up. Hit that like button up as well. Willie Mitchell, what up, Willie? Good to see you, family. Big ups to you as well as we keep it. Who that Chubbs 504? What's ham, fam? What's good with you too? My boy, Who that Chubbs? Welcome into the live stream, fam. Big ups to you. Anybody that didn't call out, please hit that Who that. Glenn Witt, who that to you? Glenn, I see you, baby. Big ups to the family. Now, in this one, family, we're going to do a little recapping. I'm also going to hit the, probably I'm going to open up the line. We had Black Suede on the line last night. He was able to come in, and big ups to my dog, Black Suede, who came in and provided some insight too. It was good having him on the live stream last night. Day 3 is just me and the fam talking Saint talk. So it's good to see the family. To that, who that, to that, who that to you. Try that about 7 times in a row. To that, who that to you, fam. Big ups to you. I did it. Chad Prue, who that? Big ups to you, fam. And you know what's crazy, man? I was thinking about that. R. Perez, am I saying that? R. Perez, 1981, who that to you? He says, who that from Puerto Rico? Big ups to my Puerto Rican brother, Cesar Ruiz. Thank you there. AR Perez, 1981. Are you the first of our Great Saints Think Tank family members from Puerto Rico? I think so, fam. Welcome to the live stream. Much love to you, fam. KT says, Q, calm down for Zach. He said, Q, I calmed down for Zach Bond's pick yesterday, and I woke up to see Adam Troutman trade and reach for the Crown Royal bottle. This is not bad picks. They're not, some of these are not pressing needs. I give you that, but they're not bad picks. I'm just letting you know. Revolt, who that to you? Revolt, big ups to your family. Zane Truesdale, what up, Zane? Welcome. Okay, R. Perez says yes, 1981. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, buddy. Good to have you, the Great Saints Think Tank. Welcome, family. Big ups to you. Yeah, let's get Terry in here, Q. Yeah, we're gonna raise Terry. We're gonna reach and see if we can get Terry. We got some other people, the family, working on too as well. Got a few people from other Saints publications. Captain Reed, who that to you, Captain Reed from H-Town, baby. Good to see you, Captain Reed. Who that to your family? I see you. Ashton Melendez, what up, Ashton? He says, I honestly don't know how I feel about Stevenson, but I feel I'll give him a chance. Yeah, that's all we can do, family, is kind of give these guys an opportunity to show what they can do. Yeah, we're going to get them GM Kev. We're going to work in that. We also going to work on get Bob Rose back. He has some good insight, too, on what he think. Who that to you, Mark Bird? He says, excited in Atlanta. There you go, Mark. Good to see you, fam. Big ups to you. JT says, hey, Q, the Saints trade Ricky Williams with the 4, 5, 6, and 7 pick. They gave the whole damn draft in the first rounder from the next draft for Ricky Williams. Boy, that dude, Mike Ditka, was an absolute clown, an absolute utter moron. To think that Ricky Williams, he felt that all they needed was a running back and it was going to the Super Bowl. Now I'm looking at that team saying, are you insane? You need everything. You have freaking Billy Joe Hobart as a quarterback. You think Billy Joe Hobart is going to take you to that guy was absolutely freaking insane. Mike Ditka, man, he set the team back for at least 3 years with his dumbass stuff, and I won't get into it, but boy, if I had a sports coma, then I would have been riding on them hard. G Reed 504, who that to your family? Good to see you as well. Clint F says Trait Man is a more capable tight end. Graham couldn't block. Zane says, Zane Truesdale says Stevens basically Taysom Hill 2.0. Yeah, pretty much. And that's a good summation of it, to be honest with you. Sean C says, listen, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. Who knows what we got? Good point. You got a 7th round pick quarterback there. The guy is talented. If you watch his film, he is very athletic. He can throw the deep ball. He kind of suffers on intermediate and short passes. Does it sound like somebody you might know? Only difference is he's a huge guy. He also, you can serve as a wide receiver. He played a little wide receiver. Ultimately, he was trying to catch on as the quarterback in Mississippi State. He got the transfer from Penn State to get there. His numbers are nothing spectacular, but it's the fact that how the Saints are going to and try to use this man in this system, and that's the thing that we got to pay attention to. KT says, Q, like Troutman, but gave up 4 picks, and then I had to argue with clowns that said mid-late rounds don't make the team. My PTSD was kicked in. I feel you, fam. Don't let them get you up there, KT. DLP, who that to you? DLP in the building as well. 985 says you wouldn't have to fight Mike D. Big Q. That dude was insane, man, what he did. He tore up the team. Austin, what up, Austin? I mean, Abraham Austin in the building. What up, my boy? Abraham from Sacramento. Big ups to your fam. Good to see you in the stream as well. Tramal says, did Fine get picked? No, I don't think so. Revolt says, who that? Everybody at Penn State is not known for producing great quarterbacks. McSorley was the last dude that came out of there. And no, they're not. The last really good quarterback I remember that actually did decent in the pros that came out of Penn State was Kerry Collins. Was it Kerry? Kerry Collins? Remember Kerry Collins? We had him down here in New Orleans for a little bit. He was actually pretty decent in Carolina. But he was an alcoholic and man, just kind of, he had all that talent, big quarterback, could throw the ball, but he was terribly undisciplined. Kerry Collins from Penn State. That's the last decent quarterback I remember. Of course, you had guys like Trace McSorley who came out, who's a little bit of everything. You had to determine on what he could do in the league, but my recollection, that's the last really decent quarterback I remember did something out of Penn State. But they're not a QB factory. Zane says, you think we could pick up Thad Moss? How you feel about him? I like that. A lot of people says he's short. He's just 6'2", about 245, 50 pounds. But he's definitely a guy that you would want to be in. I would love to see him compete in the tight end room. And then perhaps, because remember we kept talking about on the show how impactful the Saints were when they used 3 tight ends. Remember we kept talking about that? Well, guess what? They got their 3rd tight end. It's just amazing how we talk about stuff, man. And I actually think that Sean Payton's going to reach back in that bag of tricks and start using a lot of the plays that he had from yesteryear. And I mean, getting the personnel to operate those plays is something that we have to kind of look at. Kerry Collins. That's right, Nolan. Or what I said. Didn't I say Kerry Collins? Yeah. Let's see. Teal, what up, Teal? He says Moss to the Redskins. Moss to the Redskins. Teal said Moss to the Redskins. We have to check on that. And I know a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of the undrafted guys are getting signed right now, you know. So we'll keep an idea on what the Saints are going to do with some of these undrafted guys. But you probably won't start hearing, you know, the breaking down of the undrafted guys yet. And I'm going to keep you guys in tune on that to see if anybody goes here, you know, if anybody gets picked up here. But, okay, because a lot of it, okay, now just to give a little information, the Saints undrafted free agents is, you know, I got something up here. We'll be monitoring it. And it's a list of college free agents who have earned a shot with the Saints during the training camp later this summer. Okay, there's a few people, I'm looking at a report produced by Saints Wire, one of my favorite publications among the rest of them with Bob Rose and the rest of those guys. But we're going to have this writer on the show sooner or later, probably next month or so, Sigler. We're working it out with him to get his schedule. But he has a few. This is a roll of some of the guys the Saints are currently signed. This is live right now. Let me share my screen with the family members so I can get y'all on this list right here. And it's showing this is the list of college free agents who have earned a shot with the Saints during training camp later this summer. And if we're looking at it on screen right now, Marcus Callaway out of Tennessee, wide receiver. So the Saints said we need wide receiver help. Look what we did. We turned around and got wide receiver. Marquise Callaway, Tennessee, has a ways to go as a receiver, caught 92 passes in 42 games, but his abilities on punt return should help his odds. He averages 13.6 rather, yards per return and scored 3 touchdowns for the Vols. So you got a special team guy there that can help. Caught 92 passes in 42 games over his career with the Volunteers. Offensive lineman Kelvin Throckmorton from Oregon. Throckmorton might project best as a backup role at guard and center due to strength and length issues, but he started 45 games, 40 of them on the right side. This is according to Nick Underhill. He reported that Throckmorton will receive a fully guaranteed base of just over $100,000 and $12,000 signing bonus there. Next player was Jordan Steckler, another offensive lineman from Northern Illinois. He played both tackle and guard, offers nice depth for the training camp, according to his agent, Tesla of Tesla Sports. We got another defensive tackle from Texas, Malcolm Roach. Roach needs to be coached up a bit, but his natural athleticism is nice. Not many athletes can measure in 6'2", 297 pounds, and then time for a 40-yard dash at 4.84. That's pretty good for a big-ass 300-pound offensive lineman running down the field. We just hope that Roach don't get stepped on in the black and gold. I just couldn't help myself with that one. Offensive tackle Darren Apollo out of Utah. Apollo is a huge prospect, 6'5", 34.7-inch. He got that 34.78-inch arm reach, and then he has quick feet for a big blocker. I guess they're going to call him a dancing bear, but the downside to that height is a struggle to get low. He needs to work on. That's what the Twitter account said. And the Saints got a running back. Who? Running back Tony Jones. Now, you always know we got to watch out for our undrafted running backs. We have a running back, family. His name is Tony Jones. People familiar with Tony Jones, the running back from Notre Dame. I thought he would go between the 4th and 6th rounds. He didn't get drafted at all. He didn't start until 2019, but he averaged 6 yards per rushing attempt on 144 carries, and he caught 27 passes. That is a nice pickup. Tony Jones, I watched Tony Jones Jr. play, is a really good running back. Very tough guy. He has good moves. He has pretty good speed, and he's very difficult to bring down. That is a solid move. So as it stands right now, these are some of the undrafted guys that are signed right now. The wide receiver, we wanted a wide receiver, got Callaway out of Tennessee. He can help out with the punt return, kick return games. We got a running back and Tony Jones to come on here. We got a big offensive tackle. a couple of 3 offensive linemen here, and then a big defensive tackle named Roach. We got a big old Roach in the building. You got a big ass Roach in the building. Trey social media in the building. Who that to you, fam? Irvin Alexander, what up, fam? Good to see you as well. Debo in the building. What up, Debo? Who that to you as well? Okay, now that's some of the stuff, just to share some of these Saint stuff. Now, another thing that happened was the fact that, I was checking out and doing my little Saint stuff, and I researched and I realized that, we have to, what was the offensive line? What is the idea of what the offensive line look like? And of course, we seen reports saying that the Saints are going to move McCoy, because it was just speculation. But once they drafted Cesar Ruiz, we thought to ourselves, are they drafting a center to move the guard? But if you think about it, it probably would have just bode well for him to think about, being that McCoy could do both and look really well as a center. But this guy, according to them, is made to play the position. If they believe that and they moving Ruiz to the center position, McCoy will fit seamlessly in at the guard position. And that is, just wanted to share with you, fellas and the family out there, that is definitely the mindset of the team moving forward. They are most certainly, and I'm trying to look for the article so I can share it, which I had it up here. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but it's definitely something that they're going to do. They like Cesar Ruiz, and they're going to definitely move. He's going to play at the center and at the center position, and everybody else, McCoy will play at the guard position. Larry Warford didn't get traded during the draft. He's still a Saint, so I expect him to be released and the Saints to start making moves. So a lot of this is happening. So I remember, if you think about the draft, and most people think about the draft, they don't put the extra component to it. And that extra component is the undrafted part of it. You know, you have the draft and then you have the undrafted guys. And the undrafted guys, they have been known to serve an even greater attribute or help to the team over the many years. So that's what it comes down to. How then do you feel now, knowing that Cesar Ruiz will be the center, McCoy will be the guard, Larry Warford would ultimately be off the team? They've signed 3 undrafted guys, and we know that we don't know what these guys are. They got them a running back, and Tony Jones, who's a pretty good running back, by the way. And then they had a wide receiver in Callaway. I heard of Callaway, not much production, 92 catches over the summation of his career at Vols, but very versatile. Has speed, can be a punt return, kick return asset in case of something happened to our boy Deontay Harris. So Young Bloods 46, who that to you as well. Who that 504 boys, big up to you as well. And the rest of the family as you're chiming in, big ups to you. Charles Mayfield, I see your family. Who that to you as well. Big ups to you. How then does the family feel now about getting some of this help? Now, we saying we needed help at the wide receiver. A lot of people not happy about the wide receiver. The Saints going to have undrafted talent there. Another thing, I was looking around because I felt good about looking at the Saints draft. And, of course, Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. Who that to you, Kelvin? I see your family. And that's something I was looking at because I was like, man, damn, man. I like the Saints draft, and then I started looking at other drafts. I look at the Panthers draft, and the draft, they picked up all defensive players. And I mean, they really did a hell of a job, the Carolina Panthers, on that defense. They knew they needed help all over the place. Boy, not only did they get the big defensive tackle up front, but they also had got the pass rusher in Yatua Gross-Matos that you'll see twice a year from Penn State. If people don't know who he is, you will see him. So they were definitely building the defense. I looked at the Atlanta Falcons draft. They had an interesting draft. Carolina did. Tampa Bay, man, they really helped themselves. I can't help but to give props to their draft process because they did a good job of fitting the needs in, adding a safety on the back end in Winfield Jr., who's something special. They added some help on at the linebacker core. They got a wide, they added some offensive line help, and it was just, I was like, wow, man. And this guy and other drafts that blew me away was Baltimore's draft. How do you get Pat Queen and then get J.K. Dobbins in the same draft? How does that even work, man? So a lot of really spectacular drafts occurred. Jacksonville picked up some pieces, man, as well. Miami did okay, trying to put it together. But the Saints, man, they were a pretty consistent, steady draft. I wasn't upset about it. A lot of people thought we could have waited on Ruiz. But the Saints felt to the different, fam. So, I mean, it was most interesting, man, to see that. But like I said, we're going to keep an eye on some of the undrafted guys. I know I just gave you some breakdown about several of the Saints players that are recently signing. And, of course, that's what they have right now. And I'm going to keep an eye on it and kind of to let you guys know about it during the duration of time. Now, this is Stevens right here. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is Tommy Stevens' statistics, the Saints QB in the 7th round that they picked up. Because what it turns out, if you look at it, the Saints get Ruiz. He will start right away at the center position. They will move McCoy to the right guard position. McCoy, in my opinion, is an upgrade over Larry Warford, only because Larry Warford, even though he's a multiple Pro Bowler with the Saints, his play is teetering off. It is. His play is teetering off. The Saints don't see him in the future plans. So now that you getting rid of Larry Warford in his $7+ million cap hit, you move McCoy next to Ryan Ramczyk. Then you have Cesar Ruiz, and everything right of Cesar Ruiz is young weapons. Ruiz, McCoy, and then you have Ryan Ramczyk. Then you go the opposite way, more of the veteran Saints line with Andres Pete and Teron Armstead. I'm still very much happy about that. Then the Saints add a depth with Cameron Tom coming back. I like that. I really do like that. You still have Nick Eason, which I challenge whether Nick Eason will be on this team too. If the Saints rework his deal or what have you, but they do. And then they bring all these undrafted guys. And plus, you still got Greenwich, and you still got the other guy there that's on the team, very cheap help. And then you'll get the veterans, too, that can come in and provide some depth as well. Tommy Stevens is on the screen from Mississippi State. You can look at some of his statistics now. His key stats is, games played, 9 games, 1,155 yards. That's this year. This year's numbers in 9 games, 1,155 yards, 60% completion with 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a 136.8 rating. As you can see, his passing statistics are here. Here at Penn State, played 7 games in 2017 season, 9 in the next game, and then he had 7 in 2018, 2019. As you can see, didn't throw the ball as much here, and he was playing different positions as well. When he transferred to Mississippi State, he played 9 games, 161 yards, 161 attempts out and 97 completions. And like I said, I read those statistics to you right there. If you look at his rushing attempts, it's showing you all the things that can do. Last year, in 9 games, he had 83 attempts for 381 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, 12 on his career. Then it shows you his receiving stats when he was at Penn State catching the ball. You know, he had in 9 games, 12 receptions, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it's showing you that the guy, the record of what he does, you know, but he's big, 6'5", 235 from Indianapolis, Indiana, and 4-year guy in the league. A lot of people kind of figured that this guy wouldn't get your brother for that donation as well. Much love to you. Appreciate you there. The Great Saints Think Tank shirt was a new release, and several other Saints shirts that the team rolled out with. That was pretty insightful. So if you don't know about the new Great Saints Think Tank, who that to you, Farouk Abassi. Good to see Farouk in the building as well. Daddy Promo, Sua Bacon. All I know is Kamara's going to have a great year with this O-line. Thank you, Daddy Promo. Who that to you? And but that's the key point as well that we looking at too. The family. If you want to see some of the new gear, family, please feel free to go to the Pro Shop. It's the official store of the platform, the Sports Coma, and all our other stuff. So if you're interested and you want to know, the link is in the description section underneath the screen, the main screen, or the screen you're looking at right now. Simply scroll down, and maybe I can put a link in there as well so the family members can see it too, so they can check it out. But you hit that link to go to the store. You go to where the shirts are, or uni tees, or what you call it, the unisex tees, and go in there and just scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll be able to get it. But remember, with a product code, stay strong, all lower letters, you can get 15% knocked off, because I know this is tough times for the family, and I appreciate everything that we do. That's why I try to do my best to stay online, to entertain the family, and just keeping it real. Let's keep it going, family. But that's some of the stuff on time. People looking like, who the hell is this Tommy Stevens guy? What the hell is he up? What he can do? You know, it's not too much. We're not looking for him to do anything very much to set the world on fire. Just keep it real with your family. All this guy is going to come in here and do is simply be a quarterback. It's Taysom Hill. That's what he is. He's freaking Taysom Hill. I mean, it is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That's all he is. And that's what the Saints are basically bringing him in to do. And I'm looking at, and I'm saying to myself, how is that even a thing now? You know, and I know the Saints are good at what they're doing that, but that should not be the focus for Sean Payton, is trying to work Taysom Hill in there. The only reason Taysom Hill became a additive in that way is because he didn't have the talent in the places where he felt he needed it. If the talent was there, do you really think that Taysom Hill would have got that type of play? I mean, seriously speaking, there was a deficiency in athleticism in the wide receiver room. You know, the tight end situation was laughable. You know, so it just, you know, I kind of wonder that. But if you athletic and you have everything you need, there is no need for you to okay, we're going to work on our Taysom Hill package, and then we're going to just, you know, have Taysom to do this, and then we got to back up Taysom if that Taysom gear. I mean, when did that become a thing? Why don't we get on our Drew Brees shit? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? When we get a guy that can do a Drew Brees, instead of drafting a Taysom Hill, why don't you find a goddamn Drew Brees? I know it's difficult, mind you, but isn't that the goal? Why we doing it? Don't let me start on it. It was a very curious pick. I would not have wasted a asset in next year's draft to take a 7-round quarterback to be a Taysom Hill. I mean, where's our thought process in this whole matrix? I I just don't understand, man. Where's the critics? They got to be some critical thinkers in the building that you will want to say. I wouldn't have traded assets. You could probably have gotten that guy in the draft, and if you didn't, who the hell cares? I mean, what about the little guy Fine from? I'm pretty sure they'll add other quarterbacks, mind you. It'll come, because you look at some of the guys that's still left out there that's available. It's still Anthony Gordon out there, who the Saints were looking at, Steve Montez, Shea Patterson, among others, that's still out there. There's still a boatload of other people still available in the free agency, and the Saints are going to get another quarterback to come in here. And I probably would bet you dollars to donuts it'll probably be JT Barrett again for the 20,000th time. Nashville Saint, who that to you, fam? Good to see you as well. Much love, and who that to you too. And that's one of the great things, man, to talk about. Dealing with the Saints is just the critical assets of it. You know, moving back in the draft to take a 7th-round draft pick quarterback that probably would have been available if you were there. And truth be told, I mean, why in the hell would I even look at even doing that? Because if I waited into the undrafted market, I probably can land a guy like the guy out of Washington State, or Montez, or even the kid out of North Texas. You know, why would I? Is Taysom really that freaking important, Sean Payton? Seriously? I mean, seriously, man. Is he really that important? Well, you had to go and get a Taysom Hill clone. Are you serious, man? We was only doing that shit because you lacked the athleticism at the wide receiver position and at the tight end position. Now all of a sudden we got a Taysom clone. My logic is, why the hell we just don't go ahead and get I'm not going to go over it again. But let me see if I can bring up some of the overall draft picks. I'm going to share my screen with the family members one more again and bring up back to it, fam. Oh. All right, little miscommunication right there with it. They wasn't supposed to do all that. Now it's supposed, I think it's confused now. Hold on here, family. I think it's now having little issues here. All right, now even that mess, the Sean Payton QB pick got the damn program all messed up. But anyway, we back at it, family. So let's keep it rolling. This is a couple of the picks here. You see Cesar Ruiz is there, 6'3", 307 from Michigan. And of course, we covered this pick yesterday and we talked about how and what it was supposed to be. And you look at the post-draft analysis from ESPN's people saying this is one of the most surprising base picks. No, you know what? Sherlock. The Saints traded up to get McCoy in the 2nd round last year. He started 16 games. Now they re-signed guards Larry Warford and Andrews Pete and Larry Warford both went to the Pro Bowl, but Larry Warford was only on his way out. So the Saints can see Ruiz as a future replacement. Ruiz is a good player, but it remains a curious pick, and that's one of their people saying that. It is a curious pick, but I think it'll work out for the team. I looked at his footage and film, and the guy's going to be tremendous at the center position. Remember, the Saints have done a great job over recent memory getting centers and plugging them into the Saints system. You got to look at guys, going back to guys like LaCharles Bentley, Jeff Fain, Jonathan Goodwin, the big guy from Seattle. See, I already forgot the man. McCoy slipped out, and we traded Jimmy Graham for him out of Seattle, and I forgot his name already. But we have a long lineage of really great centers. Y'all can fill me in the draft. Max Unger. Max Unger is another dude that we have. And this Cesar Ruiz guy, then McCoy occupied the position for a year and did a pretty good job. And now we have Cesar Ruiz that will probably be your starting center for the next 5 to 10 years. And they'll move McCoy, like they said, to the right guard position. So it'll be a very young line. Andrews Pete is young. Ruiz is very young. McCoy is young. Then you have Ryan Ramczyk, who in my opinion going to be the best lineman that they have. And then ultimately the Saints will probably have to look at down the line addressing the tackle position, which they'll probably draft an offensive lineman in the draft next year. But that's Sean Payton saying, I got to fix my offense. You could have gave that pick to the defense, but it is what it is. Next pick on the totem pole is Zach Bowen. And Bowen is a very interesting guy as well because Bowen, he fits a need that the Saints have, and it was 2 needs. Like when they drafted him, I said to myself, this was a pretty good move because what it does do, it gives the Saints a very athletic linebacker who can also play the linebacker position, outside linebacker. Sean Payton even mentioned playing him at inside linebacker. That's why I played the footage of Sean Payton before the show started. And as you can see, Zack Baun right there making plays in this highlight film. He made an interception, seen it right there. You can see his speed right there, rambling. And one thing you notice about him is his energy, his effort, and how people see how the guys love him. Look at his ferocity. Look, coming in, drives the guy down. That would have been a penalty in the NFL. And you can see him right here taking off the edge. You see how he beat that guy like he stole something? And look at his reaction after getting the quarterback down. Look at his pursuit. Bam. On the run, playing the run. The guy has a nose for the ball. And that's something that really excites me about Zack Baun. Look at this off the edge, that first move. He gets to the quarterback and causes a problem. So that's what I'm saying. When it comes down to it, you have a guy that's really going to cause problems. Remember, he had 12.5 tackles for a loss. Was it 19.5? 19.5 tackles for a loss last year. So he comes after you and he doesn't stop. Now, the post-draft analysis that Dennis Allen's defense, Baun, could be utilized both as a stack linebacker, which he will, and a pass rush situational schema, which definitely appeases me because remember, there was somebody yelling to the top of their lungs about doing something to fix the pass rush because the Saints don't sack the quarterback enough. They don't sack the quarterback enough. And what did Sean Payton say? What did Sean Payton say when asked about Zack Baun? That he has situational pass rush applications, which then he can be used to go after the quarterback. And most certainly don't think for a second that he won't, because he damn sure will be. So it's good to see that Sean Payton is listening to the great Saints think tank, to be honest with you. Let's move to the next one here. And of course, we know about the trade, them going up to get Adam Troutman and giving Minnesota all that ammunition to move up and get this guy. Almost Dicker-esque that it happened, man. But it fits the need. It's quite, you know what's weird, family? It's really weird. Maybe weird's not a good word there to put there. Or it's very, very curious that we talked about positions that people didn't see as a need because they were putting linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver, which were important. But the needs that will take the Saints to the next level, the Saints did meet them. Follow me on this one. When we just talked about Zack Baun, we talked about needing a linebacker just to be able to play in coverage, to cover the tight ends or whatnot. The Saints not only got an athletic linebacker who plays fast sideline to sideline, very high motor guy, very productive, but he also has the ability to fire off the edge and get under those tallest. He's 6'2". He's 6'2", and if you've seen some of the footage that you showed on Baun, he has the ability to get under taller offensive linemen. A couple of those guys that was guarding him on that tape, he was able to get up under them. And you notice his moves, he was damn near unblockable. He got up under them and were able to beat them around the edge. That is huge. That will represent a huge part. And remember, I kept saying over and over again that you don't have a third situational pass rusher. That's something Sean Payton addressed in the interview that I played before the stream started. That's just showing you that the great Saints think tank word is getting out there. It's getting out there. I kept saying defensive end, defensive end and pass rush help, and he got a guy that can play linebacker and help out rush the ball, and he most certainly will. Moving to the next dude. And then to talk about strange or uniqueness, how about Adam Trout? We talked about the fact that how the Saints used to implement and run 3 tight end packages to great productivity. Remember that? When they had the 3 tight end package, they would run it in that goal line. They have tight ends shooting this way, that way. The Saints had the 3 tight end package for the Saints was an excellent package that they used to epic proportion to great success. It really helped them in that Super Bowl year. Fast forward to today. What did the Saints do to trade up all those draft picks to get this tight end? And they said, well, why would you do that when you have guys like that? Moss available, the guy from Vanderbilt, Pickney was still available. He could have helped out. He was athletic. But this guy, they seen a future star in this guy. Now you see the first 2 previous picks, Ruiz and Zack Baun, those guys are starters day one. Ruiz is going to start at you for center, and Baun is going to start at the outside linebacker position. And if they go to the 2 linebacker position, like say for instance, they go into the modified nickel package when to do that when they have two athletic linebackers on the field. Who's to say it won't be Bowen or Alex Anzalone, depending where his production level is. But the truth of the matter is that Adam Trautman won't start this year, but he will start next year. You heard it here first. Trautman will do great things. If you watch the footage on him, the guy, his speed, he's not as fast as the numbers indicate. But if you look at the tape, he's fast on film, but not fast on, if you 40 timed him. You know what I'm saying? Is that he's a big guy, 6'5", 255, and he's incredibly agile. You can throw him the ball. He high points the ball very well. The dude has soft hands. He has some consistent issues that you can work out, but in a Saints friendly system, Trautman could really help you, and I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I think the Saints they hit on goal with this. I don't know if you should have gave up all those picks to get him, but listen, this guy is going to start for the Saints next year. It won't be Josh Hill. Josh Hill had an opportunity to be the guy. He could not seal the deal when what's his name, Benjamin Watson left to go to Baltimore. Josh Hill could have stepped up and been that guy. Josh Hill just wasn't consistent enough. He developed a better blocker later, but this guy is going to be the starter for the Saints. Cook's deal is up coming after this year. He's old. You got this young stud, and he's 6'5", the study underneath the team. And this dude's going to see his way on the field. This guy's going to see his way. The Saints get their 3 tight end packages back. Look at this guy. Look at Trautman running. Look at that. Beat the guy to the edge, stuck the ball. And you'll notice about him with that big target is that he uses that size to his advantage. When you just throw the ball in his direction, look at him stop to come back to the ball. The quarterback underthrew the ball. He still worked this way, waited for the ball, made the catch, and still made the touchdown. So when it comes to it, they got to understand, man, that this tight end position, this tight end is a good pickup for him, because he's not a starter this year, but I promise you by next year, he would most certainly be a starter. And of course, the other guy we talking about, the Tommy Stevenson guy, they don't even have a picture for this guy. They got a damn picture for him. All they say is Stevens is a graduate transfer from Penn State who was named team captain in his only season at Mississippi. He's got an outstanding combination of size and speed. He's a streaky passer and better athlete than quarterback at this point. That sounds a lot like somebody we know that's on the team now. A streaky passer, but a hell of an athlete, So, I mean, it is what it is. But this guy is talented. And I hear people saying the Kerry Kittles the Kerry Kittles comparisons. I will wait on that. But his film is very encouraging, to say the least. And I watched this footage and I said, this kid is going to help us. This guy's going to help us. Now, what do you have here? And bear in mind, we also still have undrafted stuff going on that I'm monitoring right now to make sure. Now, like I said earlier, I told you guys about several people that the Saints have picked up at this point in time, and I'm going to update the list. Let me share my screen with you again, because it is becoming very eventful. Now, for those who just joined the live stream, big ups to you. Please hit the like button, family, as we continue to trek through this here thing. Got well over 150 plus people in the chat. Hit the like button. It helps the channel out big time. Now, I told you about some of our family members earlier. For those who don't know, I'm going to go over the list again, and more have been added to the list. Just to let you know, Marquise Callaway, kick returner, punt returner, who caught 92 passes in 4 years at Tennessee. He's a Saint. Offensive lineman Kelvin Throckmorton from Oregon. He's a Saint. 45 games he started, 40 of them on the right side. So this guy has a lot of experience, and pay attention to that experience. Gundam, who that to you, fam? Good to see you. Paul, who that to you? My Uncle Paul is in the building. Good to see you, Paul. Good to see your family as well. Let's see me keep going down. Jordan Steckler. Remember Aaron Steckler? A little scat back we had back in the day. It's just the name. Jordan Steckler, the offensive lineman from Northern Illinois. Played both guard and tackle. Of course, the Saints like the guys that can do both. We got a big old Roach in the building. His name is Malcolm Roach, a big defensive tackle from Texas. He'll join his buddy of Texas alumni, Malcolm Brown. How's that? You got two Malcolms. One's Brown and one's a Roach. You got a Brown Roach defensive tackle, both of them from Texas, so you could expect that Brown to take Roach underneath his wing. Roach needs to be coached up quite a bit, but his natural athleticism is nice, and the Saints always find quality interior linemen in this portion of the undrafted cycle. Not many athletes can measure 6'2", 300 pounds, and he runs a 40-yard dash at 4.84. So Lionel, what up, Lionel? Who that to you as you join? Charles Bowles, who that to you too, Charles? I see your family in the chat. Who that to you? Tony Jones, hold on, I got to go back. I skipped over an offensive lineman. Darian Paulo from Utah. He's 6'5", and he has big old ass arms. He's a big blocker, but the downside is height is a struggle to get low, and he needs work. 6'5", Darian Paulo from Utah. Running back, we got a running back. Tony Jones Jr. from Notre Dame. Didn't start until 2019, but the guy averages 6 yards per rushing attempt. 6 yards every time you give him the ball 2 times, he get a first down easily. He gets first down every 2 carries. 6 yards per rushing attempt. He had 144 carries and caught 27 passes last season. That guy, I thought he would be drafted between the third and fifth rounds. He fell undrafted. That guy is going to really be a steal from you. I like to keep an eye out on Tony Jones Jr. Cornerback, you got cornerback house. Keith Washington from West Virginia. Washington played 22 games for the Mountaineers last 2 years. He had 5 interceptions and totaled 18 pass defense. We got a young cornerback. Linebacker Joey Bashee from Mississippi State. Bashee is Michigan State. Bashee is a limited athlete who produced well in college, creating 8.5 tackles for loss in each of his final 3 seasons. He twice led the Spartans in total tackles. Despite the fact that he's a limited athlete, the guy still produced. He got the heart of a champion. So the Saints got a new linebacker there. They got another wide receiver, Jawan Johnson from Oregon. He transferred to Oregon in 2019 after playing at Penn State for the previous 4 years. So he'll be reunited with 7th-round pick Tommy Stevens, who caught 111 passes in college and gaining 1,590 with his yards. He has great size and speed. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, 4.58 with the 40. Jawan Johnson caught 111 passes in college over summation of time there. 6'4", 230 pound wide receiver. Then, of course, now defensive end Gus Cumberlander from Oregon. Big defensive lineman listed, 6'7", 256, played well as a senior before missing the final 9 games with a knee injury. Cumberlander appeared in 30 games. He has 6.5 sacks. He recovered 2 fumbles in his Ducks career. He'll get a $1,500 signing bonus as well to join the squad. So as you could tell, family, this is a few things that we had. DLP, who that to you, says he likes the Jawan Johnson move. I'm familiar with Jawan Johnson as well. It'd be interesting, man. I'm gonna have to get some more film on him, see how fast he is. But to have a 6'4" target, 230 pound guy that can, I like those big. We like big wide receivers, but I like big wide receivers who are productive. That's not scared. That's not afraid to use their size to dominate an opponent, like Brandon Coleman was. Brandon Coleman was the biggest wide receiver in the league, and he would let a 6'1" or a 5'9" or a 5'10" cornerback knock the ball out of his hands. I just didn't understand that. The only thing you were supposed to do is just throw the goddamn ball up to Brandon Coleman. But he was soft as baby, you know what, as well. We want to talk about Jimmy Graham. You need to talk about Brandon Coleman, how pathetic he was. R. Perez 1981 says, who that cute? That is Mark went undrafted. Any thoughts on that? I hope that the Saints could reach in their bag of tricks and get Thad Moss. I mean, I would love to have Randy Moss's son playing for the Saints. Seriously, I would really, because the Saints have room for another tight end behind this guy that they drafted from Dayton. They still could use another tight end because you look at it. Jared Cook is not going to be resigned. He'll ultimately leave, which will create a position behind the 2 guys that we have now. So to have a Thad Moss on your team, even if you got to stash him on the practice squad, it's still a benefit. So I definitely agree with you. I think Thad Moss should be a guy we bring in. So we're looking at it. So a lot of the family members in the chat, man, they're having a lot of positive feedback to these undrafted guys. And that's positive to say the least. Jawan Johnson, we're going to keep an eye, because we always pay attention to skill guys. The wide receiver room needs help. Jawan Johnson has size and speed. He's productive. We're going to see what he's doing. He had a 4.58 in his 40 time, big wide receiver. We need to do that. All right. Let's see who we got here. So, I mean, it's all good, man. We're going to keep on updating. This list is going to update again. I'm going to keep making sure I keep checking in on this list here because they're constantly adding more people to it. And that's the latest one right now, just to let the family members know. And also to give some information, family, about the offensive line move. The Saints are definitely, like, that's no secret. They're going to start Ruiz at the center position. They're going to start Ruiz and they're going to move McCoy to the guard position. Obviously, the guard position is right guard because they are going to get rid of Larry Warford. They couldn't trade him, so obviously they probably end up releasing him, selling with him, and releasing him and freeing up that money. And what if they freed up that money so they can add that to money that they're going to offer Alvin Kamara eventually when the time comes? But he said that his thoughts of Sean Payton will give you some information. You just got to listen to him long enough to get through the rambling. But he did give you some information saying that they will look at free agency. Free agency means undrafted free agency and regular free agency. They're going to bring in some veterans that's still available out there. So we can still look at it. So does this appease the great Saints family members? I know we a bunch of name guys. Nobody likes to put on the Protex. Nobody like to put on the USA 100s or the USA 1000s. Nobody wants to wear the Protect 5000s or wear the off brands, despite the fact that a lot of those shoes are still shoes you can walk around with, and not just, it's better than being barefooted walking around with no shoes on your feet. But people won't put them Protex on. We ain't looking for Protex. We want the Nikes. We want the Adidas. We want all the high brand shoes, even the Gucci's and all the stuff up there we don't have no business paying for. We shouldn't even be messing with that foolishness, But the reality is that, are you still getting, the Saints have, to a degree, have mastered the ability to ultimately go out and find talent in the most strange places. Finding Taysom Hill and utilizing his talents was a benefit. Very good benefit. It's something that I wouldn't do all the time. It's something that was supposed to surprise you. You throw it in there. It was like spice. You would just throw it in there. It's not something that you were supposed to eat every day. It was just something that you were supposed to throw in there. But if you upgrade the talent level of the wide receiver room, which the Saints have done by throwing in Emmanuel Sanders in the mixture, you still got Tre'Quan Smith there. So we just got to keep on rolling and doing it, man. So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And people, I understand people saying bargain basement. I see it in the chat. They saying bargain basement strategies. But listen, bargain basement or not, they've been incredibly productive in the regular season. The issue is not the talent level per se, because you could have won 2 Super Bowls in the last 2 years had you you had an identity crisis. That's what it was. It wasn't the fact that you lacked any of your appendages. And what I'm saying, I'm speaking that, and I'm using that in the team mindset, not in the individual. Not in an individual situation, but I'm saying in terms of team-based principles and concepts that are presented by the head coach, the head brain coach, not the top of the chain coach, but the brain coach. This guy is where ultimately the whole team mindset comes from. And if he screwed up here, the team will mimic him. That's why in many scenarios you watch really talented teams and they just can't get it together. Why? Because you need to look at the head coach. The head coach. Not the head, but you see what I'm saying? Up in here. The head coach. If the head ain't right, the body all screwed up. We all have the ability to be greater versions of ourselves and unlock our own potential. But we blame invisible apparitions for things that are your fault. This thing here stopped me from doing it. It messed it up for me. Nah, it's all on you. And really, to a degree, it depends on what programming you get into, because you might have been raised in a situation where you had people that were totally dysfunctional. They were functional to a degree through life, but when it came to getting above their scenario, they kept it right here because that's all. This is where I belong right here. I'm comfortable right here in my space. And when you start talking like that, you get like that, you die. Nothing. You're always supposed to be going up and higher and higher and higher. You're always supposed to be evoluting. Things are not evoluting or revoluting. And evoluting means to go forward, to grow, to go to go far, to go forward. Revolute means to go back. So if you hear some bitch telling you it's time for a revolution, you better be mindful of that. Revolution is, if he's saying it's time for an evolution. Yeah. If he telling you it's time for a revolution, tell you, hey, partner, you better take that and stick it where the sun don't shine. Just dropping it on you. But I bring it to that, family, because we got, it's all about that. And I'll tell you, man, I studied the mind. I'm telling you, you can hear it in my dialogue when I talk about sports related matters, period, is that it's commonsensical. And I make it comedy sounding because it's meant to be, man. It's not supposed to be complex. The Most High didn't create things for them to be complex for you not to understand them. You're supposed to understand how the universe works. It's only those who figured it out, then made it complex so you don't have an interest in it. But make it simple. It's always been about simplicity. And when I revolt that to say, I talk about the head thing, because when Brandon Marshall spoke about the Saints and Sean Payton hurting his own team, and Sean Payton says, I don't hurt my team. But in a mind, we all have a state of dysfunction that we deal with, that we fight with, which is the meaning of life. They say, well, what's the meaning of life? It's not deep. The meaning of life is not deep. It's to reach your most perfected form. That's why you're here on this great, beautiful journey. And we often make decisions that we ought not, that puts us back. And the meaning of life, if you don't know, you heard it on the show today, is to reach your most perfected self. And I'm not talking about just going work out in the gym. I'm talking about here, because you can't get worked out around the body until you get this worked out. You got to declutter this, and you got to focus and determine where you want to go and systematically set about doing it. And remember, it's not just about ideas. Ideas are nothing unless you put passion or energy behind them to drive it home. Then they materialize into something. And that's a power that each and every last one of us was given by the divine creator. The Most High gave us the ability to create things from the haze of our mind, develop them, and bring them into the three-dimensional reality in which we live. And people have done that to a great degree with all of the technology, both good and bad. Now, merely what I'm saying about Sean Payton in the process is there a bit of dysfunction here? Obviously, there is, because of the fact that you keep falling through the flow over the last 3 years, that you get up to a point of perfection and dominating the regular season, then you go flat on your face in the playoffs. There's some matter of dysfunctionality that existing here, which the words are, he continues to hurt his own team. He's hurting his own team. Sean Payton said, I'm not hurting my team. You crazy. You crazy. I don't hurt my work. I'll do everything I can to build my team. It's a perspective. Maybe it's due to some analyzation. Because when he said it, I said, yes, he does. He does hurt the team. He doesn't see it. Will he ever see it? I think he will. As long as we are here, the Great Saints think tank is yelling it and talking to reporters and getting the word out. He got no choice but to get it. How is it the fact that we talk about things on this show, and then even during the games, we talk about the games and the sounding of the alarm and players and this, that, and the third, and then the next day or two or three, you got reports or writers writing about the stories that we talked about the show. When you go back and look at their work, they wasn't even mentioning that. Where did this all of a sudden, this new idealistic mentality come from? It just came out of their ass somewhere, I guess. But that's what I'm saying. It comes down to it. You always had the last 2 years, you had the talent to win. You did. You went 13-3 back-to-back years. And last year, you had Ted Ginn Jr. as a wide receiver opposite of Mike Thomas and still won 13 games with a half-ass wide receiver core. The only two people putting in work on the wide receiver core was Michael Thomas and Deontay Harris. And he was doing it from the kick return, punt return level. He was a Pro Bowler, so was Mike. Half a wide receiver core now. And prior to that, the year before that, you was doing the same thing without Jared Cook, and you was doing it by tight end by committee. You see what I'm saying? You've always had it. So if we're looking at one of these players here saying this guy is the key to our Super Bowl run. No. Listen, you could have had it last year and the year before that and the year before that. What happened? Well, the referees didn't close the flag, Q. The referees was at fault. See, there go that apparition. It wasn't, how about let's go back into that game and let me ask you why the hell that tight end dropped that touchdown pass in that championship game. You don't want to win if you dropping touchdown passes in the NFC championship game. And then when you tell them that, it's like, yeah, he did drop a touchdown. It's just, man, listen. Don't let them control the narrative. I've seen it, and I'm saying, no, that's not where you wasn't. They didn't make the call, but you knew they was cheating the season. You knew you go back in the season, they were making suspect calls against the Saints last year, in that year and last year. The trend ain't just started this year. You knew they were making suspect calls. So the thing is, we know we can beat the system because they were doing suspect calls the entire year last year, and all you did was then 13-3 and tore up everybody in the league that year. Then you go forward into the playoffs and fall on your face. Was that the referee's fault? No, it was your fault because you didn't execute properly. You shot yourself in the foot and you didn't operate like you kept having issues on offensive line, blown coverages, missed tackles, everything. Whether you want to talk about the offensive lineman not blocking correctly, the quarterback not audible to the correct plays, guys dropping passes, guys not being where they're supposed to be, guys getting burnt on the back end of defense because they wasn't there. Whatever you want to talk about it being, don't blame an invisible apparition and said they threw something to trip you out there on the field, or is this guy that did this, he didn't make the call, the guy shoved PJ Williams. Yeah, the guy shoved PJ Williams. But the Saints had opportunities to win those games before that happened. Where was your pass rush? Where was your running game? Where was the blocking needed to protect Drew so he can make the passes? Where was Drew's mind in the game to make the right passes? And see, there is no single player that you can say will come and make you this. And I'm talking exclusively about the Saints because you have everything already. Everything else is just a cherry on top. You already got the Sunday made. You just dressing it up with sprinkles and cherries and shit. I mean, come on, man. I'm just keeping it real. Who that to the family members join the stream? TS the great, TS5 the great. But that's what I'm saying. It's the head coach's fault. The head coach's thought, his mentality, his game plan. Everything is a mental process created by the head coach. The head coach. It all comes from his imagination. It comes from him. They're following the schematics of this guy. He's the architect. If you're trying to build a building and you have an architect and he creates the blueprints, tell me how I contract to build a building of any sort that's worth standing without the blueprints. If you don't have the blueprints, how do I build anything? Where do the blueprints come from? Sean Payton is the architect that put the blueprints together for everybody else to follow. And if it's a flawed design, you're going to keep getting flawed results. So we got to go into this here thing and fix it there. Then it fixes itself everywhere else. Because you can get the most out of these guys, drafted and undrafted, if you stick to their talents. The moment you start making them do stuff they're not comfortable with, you start messing with their confidence levels up here. This thing is fragile, man. To some, it's very fragile, and you can break players like that. And then to be honest with you, we ain't exactly a very forgiving people. If you screw up on the field, you're going to hear from me. You're going to hear from you. You're going to hear from everybody. And it's a shame. Like how we tell PJ Williams. We tear PJ Williams up. We tore up Apple. We tore, where did he lose his confidence? That's not just him on the field saying, man, I lost my confidence. No, he hearing it from you. He hearing it from everybody. And you got to know how to, in this space here, to understand that a portion of it is right and warranted, and how to take constructive criticism, not just straight up hate and just running off at the mouth calling them names. But if you contributing something constructive to you, if I'm constructively criticizing Sean Payton and telling them that the design flaw is in your brain, your scheme is flawed, and then it is not implemented correctly because you don't have the discipline to stick to the scheme. That's not hating on anybody. That is constructive criticism. And the moment we can't take that, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. The problem is, did Sean Payton stop taking constructive criticism? Because we can draft 1,000 people that can come in here and play. But if the scheme ain't implementing correctly and adding these players in, you're going to have issues all over the place. And I say that long ass spiel about the head coach because I'm looking at all them other people's drafts. You think Tampa Bay playing with you? Tampa Bay said this is the 4th year the Saints had, and according to the historical record of the NFC South, every 4 years a new champion is crowned. That's what he's saying. And this is time. It's Tampa Bay Buccaneer time. We got one in here. They be coming in here. Several of them come up in here. Zach is one of them. Zach Johnson, I think his name is. He'll pop up here and talk about y'all in trouble now. We got time. Oh, we got Gronk. Oh, we got this guy. We got that guy. Then they had a pretty good draft as well. So the historical record says every 4 years a new champion is crowned in NFC South. In order for the Saints to defeat that historical record, because you can break history, you can break the cycle of history simply by putting your will to it and say, nope, we still the champs. We still a man. We still the truth. We still the ones holding it. And if you want it, you got to come wrestle it from us. And it's a battle of will. Is your will greater than theirs? That's when it come down to. So we're going to see. But I'm sorry, family. I had to hit y'all with that. Big ups to the family members, man. You know, I'm a big believer, man. I believe in God, man. You know, and no doubt about it. The Most High is real with me. You know what I'm saying, fam? But I also realize there are principles in the universe that the Most High set in motion, because that's how the universe is designed. I also know that the universe is designed in such a way where it's supposed to give to you the things that you want if you ask it correctly. That's like a lot of the old people used to tell me, if you're going to talk to God, don't go up there begging, because you won't get it. You got to be firm and confident, but yet respectful. And then also whatever you're requesting from the universe got to come with a certain energy. And then once that's placed into the energy, you have to be consistently behind it and the work about bringing that idea into fruition. But anyway, just to let some of the family members know that I've got the live line is open. If you want to call in and drop your knowledge, tell me what you guys think about the draft and what happened in the draft. Let me know what you guys think about it as well. Big ups to the family members joining the stream. Who that to you? Please hit the like button. Over 150 people in the stream. 71 likes. Appreciate those that hit the like. Those who didn't, please feel free to hit it. If you're not a subscriber, if you like the Saints, the Great Saints Think Tank, feel free to subscribe and join the nation now. You're more than welcome. Here, JT says, rewrite history. Saints champion. That's no doubt about it. Big Sam. Who that to you? Big Sam. Delcom 28. What up, fam? Good to see you. Been a while there, Delcom. What you been up to, bro? Big ups to you, fam. Good to see you in the building. What up, Willie? Willie Mitchell. Who that to you? Willie kind of snuck up in there. Who that to you? I see you, family. Big ups. Demetrius Simpsons. Who that to you? Demetrius. Big ups to your family. I see you in the chat as well. So I like to give a shout out to the family members. That's what I do, man. You know, y'all are as important as I am. And then without y'all, I'm just sitting up here talking to myself. I'm here sitting up here rationalizing and talking to myself, baby. Straight up, man. Who that? State of the Saints podcast. What up, man? What's happening, fam? Good to see you, man. That's another one of our family members, our extended family members. I told you, man, we got a lot of beautiful black and gold family members, man. My dog from the State of the Saints podcast. Good to see you there, fam. TJ, what up, fam? Good to see you, fam. He said Sean Payton needs to ask God to give him a running game in his name, God. Talk to him, brother. Wake him up. Well, I tell you what, we all yell at the same time, bro. I think he would hear us. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you from the State of the Saints podcast. Big ups to my brother there. Appreciate you. Honorary Great Saints Think Tank family. I keep saying it, man. Let's see. JT said, don't answer. I can talk to myself. Don't start answering, though. And when you know you kind of going bonkers right there. Thank you, fam. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate you, brother. That's good down. But I appreciate you, man. Much love to the brother. And I know a lot of people know about him over there at the State of the Saints podcast. That brother do a lot of good work over there, man. And like I said, man, a lot of people don't understand. And I keep telling this over and over again, is that we the Great Saints Think Tank. We are a family here. I've given the brother and TJ know I gave him a lot of love, and I'm gonna have to get him on here one of these days so we can go over it. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk TJ. We got to get on here, bro, and do one together, family. and get a couple of the boys, because I know NOS also drops by as well, and several other people come through as well. So we're gonna have to do a collage, bro, and get everybody together. It'll be a great thing for all the Saints family to see us all there sitting up there talking about the Saints. So that's big. Okay, we got somebody on the call calling in. What's up, fam? Thank you for calling Sports Coma. I'm speaking with.
What up, Big Q? This KT.
What up, KT? What's good, baby?
Hey, peace and blessings, bro. I'm good. I didn't talk myself out of. I put the bottle down.
Say, bro, you serious about that, bro? You wanted to whoop on them and everything. I'm glad you sound a lot better, bro.
Hey, I was watching the draft and my nephew stood up on his own, so that kind of mellowed me out.
Okay, all right.
All right. Now, something I wanted to speak on that you mentioned. Okay. You were talking about Sean Payton with the head. I was talking to my cousin that lived down there in New Orleans about this. Sean Payton, I believe, is a good coach, a great coach. Mm-hmm. But this is what I've noticed with him from the time he's been with the Saints up until now. When people start to figure out his scheme and his system, he won't adjust the scheme to throw people off again. He'll just go get new players. And let me put this on your brain, Big Q.
Mm-hmm.
We got Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was a decoy. When people start figuring out what Reggie Bush was doing, okay, we let Reggie Bush go. We go get Darren Sproles. When people start figuring out what Darren Sproles was doing, okay, we gonna go ahead and we gonna draft Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
He never okay, y'all done caught on to this. Well, let me tweak this to counteract what you doing. Like you said yesterday, is okay, I'm gonna get different players, but still run the same looks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what irks my nerves is, look, I've been black and gold since 2000 when I was in the U.S. Army.
Okay.
I'm a diehard Saint fan, but like I told everybody, like the clown I got into it with today, don't piss in a jar and hand it to me and tell me it's apple juice and I'm just supposed to drink it because it came from the team. If
I hope you smell it before you drink it.
I ain't drinking it. Hey, the Most High gave us free will and understanding so we can think and move on our own. So you ain't finna get me with no okie doke. Like, I was mad about the Ruiz pick.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, we could have got him later, but you said, okay, we finna trade Larry Walford. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
I was happy with the Zach Bond trade up. I'm like, okay, dude, athletic. He could take Anzalone's job. He could give these guys a run for his money. I'm happy with that. Q, I went to bed in a good mood. I woke up this morning and I'm like, we did what? Okay, let me take a shot so I can mellow myself out.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to go Wayne Brady and choke our front office. But I feel like this. I said my point on that, and I'm rooting for Stevens. My only thing is with this, and I mean no disrespect when I say this to you or any of the other LSU fans out there. The Saints and LSU have this one problem, and I'll get your feedback after I finish.
Mm-hmm.
They can't develop their own homegrown quarterbacks, but when they get somebody that's transferring or a free agent, they can tweak it and fix it up. And with building a house or building anything, you can't always go through the quick fixes. You got to take it and build it from the ground up sometimes, get your foundation right for things to succeed and go forward in the future.
I'm with you.
And that's what I saw with LSU, because before it was Burrow, it was Etling. Before it was Etling, it was Mettenberger. I'm like, okay, but you bringing in all these top quarterbacks. And with the Saints, it was little older veterans that Drew said so I could have. Drew said it was like so he could have an extra set of eyes on the field like a coach. No, it was for somebody so you wouldn't feel threatened about your backup could come in and take your job.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed that, and now I don't want it to be too little, too late, because I don't want my team to end up like Buffalo, Miami, Oakland, the Raiders, where you have this legendary quarterback. Then after that, you stuck wandering the woods looking for the heir apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's it. But could I get your thought on those 2 points I said about Peyton not adjusting the scheme and not developing homegrown talent at quarterback?
Just to address the second question first, homegrown talent means LSU, local talent from LSU or whatnot, correct? Or you just saying?
I'm saying the Saints and the LSU are both guilty of this. Like with LSU, it's quarterbacks they recruit, they can't develop.
Yeah.
With the Saints, is quarterbacks they draft, they can't develop, but they can take a free agent and tweak and develop.
I just think that for the adjusting situation, dealing with Sean Payton making adjustments, it's a matter of seeing it and doing it. I just think he did it all throughout the regular season. They made a lot of adjustments in those wins during the season. They just had most of those. They didn't have all those teams blown out. You had a competition, then the Saints ultimately made adjustments and took it to the next level. They were able to kind of just make do of these, get rid of these teams. But when you get into the playoffs, it's a certain level of intelligence that you have to have. And intelligence is a part of it. And I'm not just talking about intelligence in the senses. That's why they got all this bull crap, all this spy tech. The greatest information in the greatest business in the country right now is not the petroleum industry, it's the intelligence. Intelligence is information. And then you got all these crazy gadgets that pull information from you, the smart meters, let you know how much power coming off your house, all this kind of stuff going on, all the smart tech taking information and sending it. And I say all that to say this, is that's how the world is driven on information. That's how decisions, the more information you have, the better decisions you make. And because you have an ability to be able to see threefold or more, so depending on what you got. Sean Payton, in my degree, has enough information. It's just, I think that at a point, even leaders of countries don't make decisions by themselves. They consort an advisory board of trusted people around them before they ultimately make a decision. And we talking football, it's not nearly as deep, but still at all, you got to have a council of people that speak their mind to be able to tell the truth. And I'm looking around him in that building, and I doubt they even have that. So if Sean Payton makes a decision and it don't help the team like he did in the Minnesota game when he was just trying to beat Zimmer and he wanted to beat him the way he wanted to beat him, he didn't make adjustments to the scouting report. How do we know that? Because we had the scouting report. I was reading off the scouting report, their scouting report on the show, telling them, and I went over the points, said yes. And then you don't even, truth be told, bro, you don't even need a scouting report to know how to beat them teams you're going to face, because they got a blueprint, a roadmap of things they struggle with throughout the season. And if you watch Minnesota, you knew that they had problems stopping the run. And if you wanted to beat them, you had to run the ball. And the Saints did not power the run. They weren't serious about making a run. When Minnesota made the adjustments and inverted their defensive line and put Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin on the interior of the line to Drew Brees, the blitz Drew in the interior, the Saints could have made an adjustment to that. They could have did something. They could have went with plays to the outside while the speed guys was on the inside. They could have did something. They didn't make the adjustments because at a mindset, I just think Sean Payton gets in this stubborn. And the older he get, the more stubborn he gets. And in reality, got to sink into a degree that you have to be able to be flexible and adapt. Your changer has to be able to flexible and adapt. That's how systems die. That's how countries die. That's how things die. The moment you stop adjusting, the moment you stop progressing, the moment that you stop innovating, you dying. If you're not moving forward, you're going backwards, is what I'm saying. And that's what happened in winning cases with Sean Payton. That's why we stagnant in the playoffs. His teams are not prepared in the playoffs. They're dropping touchdown passes, blowing coverages, blowing blocks, having asinine miscues, false start penalties, guys being where they're not supposed to be, fussing on the sideline about why you ain't covering this guy. You're supposed to be covering this guy. Guys not prepared on the field, coaches not losing control and everything. I seen it all on that Minnesota game last year. And now to talk to you a point about the not being able to develop talent. A lot of what's happening at the QB position for years is the fact that you're dealing with Sean Payton, who had Drew Brees. Now I've said this before, this is nothing new. Sean Payton's had Drew Brees down here for many years. For the majority of the time Sean Payton's been down here as a Saint, he's had Drew Brees with him. And that is very unlikely because you can't find that type of a scenario except for Tom Brady and Belichick spent all that time together. That's very rare that you will find a quarterback and a guy and a coach together and having that immense success offensively speaking over a prolonged period of time like that. Maybe perhaps during that duration of time, being that they had that unusual thing going on where they didn't have an opportunity to develop a backup. They had Chase Daniels there. Chase Daniels showed qualities, but ultimately the Saints didn't see he was worth it to pay him to keep him there as opposed to let him go somewhere else where they would have to make him the highest paid backup in the league, and they didn't want to do that. They decided just to let him go and find somebody else to put there. But they've drafted other guys and brought them in here. Grayson was one of the guys they drafted. He was a total buffoon. It's just, it goes to how serious you are about finding a parent for Drew. Because you were sitting up there at 24. Why didn't you take Love like Green Bay did? Green Bay seen Love sitting there and took him, and they just read up with Aaron Rodgers last year. But they're not looking at tomorrow or the next year after that. They're saying, we got this guy now. We sit him on the team, and in 3 years, when Aaron's contract is due, we just march Love right on out there. The Saints are not doing it like that. Sean Payton takes them first-round draft picks, and he puts them where he want to put them at, whether it's an offensive lineman, whether it's a defensive lineman, this guy, that guy. But the quarterback position, he don't take it that serious. If he did, he had an opportunity in the draft. He could have moved up and got Jalen Hurts. He could have drafted Jordan Love. And you can't. They love Ruiz, and that's true. Ruiz is a good player. But shit, they could have found Bad Icy, who was another center, was out there. Cushenberry from LSU was there out there. So they had guys out there and understand the frustration that this is just the method. Now we looking at it saying, you ain't get a quarterback this year. You got this guy who's another Taysom Hill. And obviously, he's not ready to be a franchise quarterback like Taysom is not ready to be a franchise quarterback. And I'm saying that people get mad at me, but I've been telling them that the whole time. I told him, I said, listen, if Sean Payton was really serious about Taysom Hill, he would have played him with Teddy Bridgewater, stepped up to this plate. He would have played Taysom Hill over Teddy Bridgewater if he was Steve Young. And if he was Steve Young and a franchise quarterback, they telling you Drew got one more year. Why they still leaving Taysom Hill hanging out there on that tender? Why they didn't sign him to a 3-year deal? That would have showed that they wanted him more than a year. See, it's smoke and mirrors. And then another caveat, throw it up in there, is the fact that they try to renegotiate with Teddy Bridgewater when free agency started, and he bucked them and went to Carolina. So I thought he was the man, but you're going to negotiate with Teddy? I thought Taysom was the man. You see what I'm saying? And when I was saying this, people were saying, man, you saying it's such a... Man, I know people, man. I know people. I know Sean Payton, and I pay attention to I listen to what they say, but I watch their actions, and I analyze that stuff. And that's why I'm able to call this stuff like I do, because I know Sean Payton was full of shit when he said that. I knew he was. But, you know, it's what it is. But no, they don't develop quarterbacks well. They don't. They never did. Wasn't the last time the Saints drafted a quarterback and he came in here and started and took them somewhere deep in the playoffs and stayed with them for a pretty long period of time. It don't happen because the mentality of the team is not like that. They had a chance this year to solve it, but they didn't. So, I mean, that's what it is, KT. That's the best that I can do on that, bro. Anything else, I'm going to start riding on Sean Payton.
Okay, let me calm you down, bro. I'm just going to say this. This is what somebody told me. If your actions don't match your words, there ain't no need for you to have words with that person.
That's true. But that's true. But in this world, to be honest with you, KT, in this world, people pay attention to the actions of people, the words of people more than the actions. If it wasn't the case, then half these politicians would have gotten away with the stuff they're getting away with. I mean, how you got people sitting at home nowadays, and this is just how I think, how you got people sitting at home telling, don't you go out nowhere. Don't you go out nowhere because you got this stuff out here. But car accidents killing them more than that stuff. You got the AIDS epidemic we went through. You got the drug stuff going on nowadays. You got all this all this multiple violence and shooting going on. That's it. The rates are ridiculous if you look at it statistically. And I'm an analytical minded person. I look at the statistics, and I'm a common sense person. I like to keep it simple. And if people didn't understand that if they didn't pay attention to just the words, then they wouldn't listen to these politicians who still getting paid while everybody with 20 plus million people file for unemployment. I mean, so it just shows you that what kind of construct are we living in? We got to be able to, when we see it, because it is a combination. It's made based upon our minds. It's a thing where they get everybody to think the same way and ridicule people who don't. It's called peer pressure. They call names to it. Where did it come from? It's a part of groupthink to force people to buy into a single-minded concept, and that the greater good is greater for the good as whole. But there wouldn't be a whole if we wasn't all put into it. You have nothing if it wasn't for the people. The people's mentalities and minds make it go. If you took all of the great black and gold family members and drew all of the emotional and financial support back from the organization, they will wither and die. That's the power that you give and that we put into it. Without the people, you have nothing. Without the people, you have empty stadiums that you playing in front of. Without the people, you have nothing. So if I can get you to think a certain way, like with Sean Payton spill, and they spill it all the time. They spill it all the time. The problem with the Matrix is Sean Payton, he has too much power. He has too much freedom. And that sounds famous. I'm a fan of freedom and power, but there's a balance to it. Maybe you're not the person that's supposed to be sitting with that much power because you lack in certain traits where you can be able to take it and counterbalance it. That's how you got dictators in the world. The guy would then have a palace, the biggest building in his whole country, his building powered, and half the state living in hovels with no power and no running water. But he's sitting up there eating zebra and all kind of exotic animals. That happens all the time in Africa. But I'm saying when it comes down to it, it's certain people that's not supposed to have it. And if they're smart, they know that they're supposed to counterbalance themselves with individuals who have the qualities that they lack. That's how you know you have a good team. This guy bringing something to the table because he's a good scouter. Jeff Ireland, he knows people such and such. Mickey Loomis, he's a guy that comes in because he knows how to deal with the money and creatively creates situations to get players that you need, which you otherwise probably wouldn't be able to get with limited resources, financially speaking. And you got Sean Payton sitting there. You need another personality there that can then tell him you're not being balanced. We must stick to the running game because it's the reason why we are failing in many of this game. It's the reason why you're not going to the Super Bowl. Look at all the teams that played in even the Tennessee Titans showed you what time it was. The Tennessee Titans marched their asses right into the AFC Championship game last year off the power of the running game and defense. Come on.
I feel you.
So I'm saying that we got to have that balance. And Sean Payton, is he going to learn that lesson? And remember my thing about head coach, man. Head coach, everything about the scheme or the schematic of the team, the architectural blueprint of the team was created by Sean Payton. And I have to break it down that way to make people see that at the head of the machine is him. And until he get the dysfunction out, hopefully it's this year, we can see some greater success. But thank you, KT. I got another call, my brother. I appreciate you. Much love to your family, and don't be a stranger.
I won't. Who that?
Who that, baby? What's up, fam? Thank you for calling the Great Saints Think Take. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, this Drew goddamn Breeze, man. Loving that rank you got going on.
Drew goddamn Breeze. What's up, fam?
I love it very much. What's good?
Good, my man. Good to hear from you, bro. Been a while.
I know. I had my phone off. I had the big team over to get it on. I said COVID-19.
Oh, man.
They said we got
man, but how you feel? Everything's well, though, huh, fam?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good deal.
I'm just laughing at Eagles fans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know who EDP is? You seen his reaction?
No.
Well, EDP 445. That's a YouTube personality who's crazy as hell, but he's got like 1 million subscribers. But he's an Eagles diehard fan.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the problem with the Eagles is that Carson Wentz has been throwing to wide receivers that are undrafted, or he has no offensive line. So in the first round they picked the offensive a wide receiver, but in the second round they took Jalen Hurts. And the dude damn near lost his mind. He turned into the Joker here. He said, "I hate all of y'all."
It's crazy. Now, if you a quarterback needed team, now we know the guys upset about the Jalen Hurts move in Philly, but they won't be, bro, when Carson Wentz goes down again.
I'm telling y'all, man.
They don't understand. Now
I'm like, Nick Foles not there to save you.
I'm telling you, bro, it's the thing is crazy because they had an opportunity to get Justin Jefferson. Thank you, Hamilton. Hamilton, big ups to you. Thank you for joining us. Great Saints Think Tank. Appreciate you. And we had another family member, the CW5, I think it was. Who that to you? Thank you for joining the Great Saints Think Tank as well, family. Hit me up if that's the right name. I just seen you subscribe. Thank you for that. But yeah, I see they had an opportunity to get Justin Jefferson with the pick, but they chose TCU's wide receiver Jalen Reagor, who was considered by some to be a second round pick. Oh my goodness. Another Nelson Aguilar. Oh my goodness. Don't put that on him. Damn. But you had Jefferson there. I mean, you had what's his name there as well, the guy from Clemson. He was available. So I mean, you could have had a big, fast wide receiver who's proven to do the thing. But that just shows you that the Eagles having issues up there with, I think Howie Roseman is his name. That's the general manager making these curious decisions. And in Philadelphia, man, listen, I got a friend of mine that's a Philadelphia fan, man, and he was upset about the Malcolm Jenkins thing and whatnot. But man, Philadelphia still have an opportunity to do some things. The Jalen Hurts thing is not actually bad. They wanted somebody else, but Jalen Hurts, they won't be yelling and being angry when Wentz goes down again because he had that issue with his back. And when they're taking a quarterback down, they're not remembering those medicals. Them guys got the inside information. It's almost like, you know what? It's crazy, bro, because I think about it from time to time. I said we're in an information-driven world. And you hear all of the media stuff, and they always fighting back and forth between each other. But when all this stuff happened, it was a symphony of harmony, holding arms and singing aloud in illustrious angelic harmony. Everything was the same. Oh my God. It was all harmony. It was like, well, wow. All it took for the massive mainstream media to come together was a pandemic of epic proportions for them to all sing together, but they still lambaste each other on the side. You see? And I'm saying, if you don't like the man in the White House, then stop going to his press conferences, asking him for information. If you have the information, put the information out and stop asking him. You have his sources. You can go to the CDC, who he stopped using. You can go to the NAIA, which he stopped using. He can go to the World Health Organization, which he stopped using. Because he said, he gave good reason, they have interest that's outside of this country, which you got to think about it. So if if anybody don't have the inside baseball in order to be the man up the top of the company, which the country is basically a company, it's a corporation. If you're sitting at the helm of it, you are privy to all of its secrets. You are privy to all the information that they can't tell you, that they're not obligated to tell you, and that they're sworn not to tell you. So if that's the case, if you don't have all the answers, nobody does. And you see people sitting up here fussing about him not having the answers. And I don't have a dog in the race, to be honest with you. Only thing I do is I just analyze. But I know what I'm looking at. If he don't have the answers, stop going there asking him. You see what I'm saying? So it's just people have to rationalize and go critical and use that critical thinking, man, because I'm telling you, it's a lot going on right now that they're not telling you. A lot going on, and I'm not going to talk about it in this show. But I'm going to keep it real. But go ahead, Drew goddamn Brees. Go ahead, bro. Tell me what you think about the draft, bro. What you think about the draft pick? I know you was kind of upset, wasn't you?
No.
You wasn't? Really. You wasn't upset?
About the Saints draft?
Yeah. I thought you might have been upset, you.
What about the quarterback? Or
no, I'm talking about their choice at getting a center with the first round pick. You okay with that?
Now, at first it didn't really make sense to me, but then I said it might be good for our interior. I mean, we're gonna smash games in the regular season. We're gonna go 12-4, 13-3, but postseason is where we get hit badly in the interior. Mm-hmm. So I see them. So I think, well, I know people say they wanted a quarterback, but I was like, we're going to find a diamond in the rough in the quarterback in the later rounds.
Yep.
Or in or free agency.
So let me ask you this, bro. So far, Ruiz the center. They're moving McCoy to guard. I know you heard that. What's that?
Did they say they're moving him to guard?
Reports are some credible reports are saying sources are he's going to move to right guard. They're not going to move.
That'd be good because the offensive line will be really good for at least 3 years or however many.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I'm looking at, though. That's what I'm thinking is you have 4 really young offensive linemen. You had Andrus Peat with the mix, Ruiz, McCoy, and then you have Ryan Ramczyk on the right side, and then Terron Armstead is at the left side. Sooner or later, they'll end up probably drafting a guy next year or the year after to replace Terron Armstead. But based upon the movements, because to be honest with you, Ruiz does make the center of the line a lot better. Moving McCoy there at guard, he can be a better guard there for you. I like the moves to improve the interior of the offensive line. I really do. Perhaps it'll be even more appeasing to people to realize that if Sean Payton comes out and say we plan on running the ball more, then people would totally, I'm telling you, all of the stuff about the pick going away, but he doesn't say that. See, he can say and tell you, listen, we improving the interior line in front of Drew because we want to run the ball. Then everybody will say, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
If you think about it, during the Vikings game we played, when Latavius Murray ran the ball, he just went right through. When we played the 49ers, when Latavius Murray ran the ball, he sliced right through. You know, the problem is the passing game in the playoffs. Because I don't know if a lot of fans noticed, but during our playoff runs from the past years, our interior line gets blowed the hell up while our tackles are covering the edge rushers. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Drew Brees, you know how he starts panicking every time he gets hit. Because he's like really short. Because if you think about it, the offensive lineman are at least 6'4" or 6'6". So he can see, but it's like when you got colossal ass men running right after you, it's going to kill confidence, especially getting hit. Yeah. So I'm not going to be a sheep and say, I like this move. You know, you got to trust the system or whatever. Because I thought that was pretty dumb. From where I stand, from where I see it, we always draft good talent. At least from 2017, we've been drafting good picks in the later rounds. So we should have at least gotten a wide receiver or we should have gotten a linebacker like it really looks like we need it. But it's just one of these cases where you have to be a sheep and say, "Oh wow, that's a good pick." You just gotta hope it's a good pick. I mean, a good choice right now.
Well, the player, if you do research on Ruiz is he's a good player. He's a mean center, man. That's if I had to describe Ruiz to the family members, I say he was a mean center. He plays with an attitude problem, not a bad attitude. Like, how dare you stand in front of me and think you're gonna do something? I mean, it's like he plays with that personal meanness. It's under control. He's technical, strong, and he got some flaws in his game. He can work on his footwork a little better, but the dude is a natural born center. He's mean. And you're getting him for a cheap price and in the interior of the line. Like I said, people, if he would have said we intended on running the ball, a lot of people would not have this opinion about him taking them there. It's like we make a running game a priority. That would have made it all go away. You know, so, I mean, I think that it's not a bad move to get the center position because I see where you're going. Because moving McCoy to right guard, I think you'll get a lot more out of McCoy at right guard than you would do at center, being that Ruiz is a natural born fit there. So I like that. Ultimately, we'll long-term sign Ryan Ramczyk a year from now or perhaps before his contract ends. And your line is set. Defensive line wise, if you look at the defensive line, the first thing the Saints did was sign David Onyemata. Soon as the free agency hit, they signed David Onyemata and brought him back. You still have Sheldon Rankins, whether Sheldon Rankins ball or not, he's not coming back after next year. They're not going to re-up and give Sheldon Rankins a big fat stinking deal when they already developing talent behind them like Tyler Davison. They're bringing guys in off of free agency that's going to help them out as well. And remember, the Saints love undrafted guys, and they have a reputation of getting undrafted guys into starting positions. So you're going to only get the best of the undrafted guys because they're looking to make a starting point so they can get into the NFL. The Saints have a reputation of that. So I'm thinking in the long run, the Saints made it a point, a priority to be able to empower the offensive and defensive lines, which is beautiful. I love it because the games are won in the trenches. How many times you've heard that cliched term, which is absolutely 1,000% true.
Mm-hmm.
If you dominate the offensive line, you will win games. If you dominate the defensive line, you will win games. If you control the line of scrimmage, period, you will win a lot of games in the NFL and in the playoffs as well. So I can understand him looking at the center. That's why I wasn't upset, because I blow up just like anybody blow up. And I would have set it off up in there and it'd been must-see TV. But the reality is I understood to a degree why the move was made. And also I looked at the fact that the signings dealing with the defense was something. I like the smart signings of bringing guys that they're comfortable with, because I think I still think there's still more to see from Andrew Speed. I think he'll live up to that contract. I think he'll get better and better. That's just my personal take. And I think the Saints are doing it right from the offensive line perspective. And we talked about the Saints needing a linebacker. This guy that they traded up to get, Zach Bond, is fantastic. He will definitely fit the bill at the linebacker position, athletic wise, and then you can move him and situate him as a situational passer. Look at his film of how he gets around guys. He's 6'2". He has the ability to get underneath the taller guys. He's got an incredibly fast step. He has good moves to get around bigger guys. And when he gets around that quarterback in that straight line, right around that tackle, he's straight line to the quarterback. You will not run away from Zach Bond when he got you. He's a tackler. He don't miss.
He has too much upside, man.
Man, he's terrific.
I can just see it now. I can see Demario Davis. I can see them running havoc. Especially if Kiko is out there too.
Yeah,
that just looks devastating.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, because we talking about Alex Anzalone. What this also means is that the Saints their base package, defensive speaking, is the 43 scheme. The 43 defense, which is 4 linemen, 3 linebackers there. Them 3 linebackers there obviously will be Demario Davis, Zach Bond, and Alex Anzalone, because he is healthy right now. Now, when they go to that modified nickel package that they play a lot of, then the two of your most athletic linebackers will then be on the field. I'm thinking in my imagination that Alex Anzalone and Demario Davis is there. And then what they do is they move Bond to an end, Davenport to an end, and put Cam in the middle next to Brown, beautiful, and run them at them in that modified nickel package. So
Lord knows we need it.
That's what I'm thinking. So when they made the Zach Bond pick, I said that guy's he plays a situational passer. So he killed 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. He solves the linebacker position and he provides a situational passer component that they lack. So that's 2 players in one with 1 dude. So not only you got your starting center for the next 5 to 10 years, you got your starting linebacker for the next 4 or 5 years, who can also situational pass for you. And then you also then go get a tight end. Now, why would the Saints trade 4 picks to move up to get 1 tight end when Thad Moss was sitting there, Pinckney from Vanderbilt was sitting there, and several other really excellent young tight end prospects? The reason being is because the Saints see his skill set as he's big. If you watch the footage on him, he knows how to get open. He knows how to use his size to high point the ball. He has soft hands. He could work on his blocking is not bad either. But the kid is an overall plus. The reason why he didn't get a lot of the high praise that he should have gotten is because he played at a small school. And he just kind of got lost in the minutia. But the Saints specialize in finding small school prospects. Terron Armstead was from what? Arkansas Pine? What was he from? Little Rock somewhere or something. But anyway, it's tough. They will find these guys in the weirdest places because they got an excellent scouting staff. And this guy won't start for you this year, the tight end that they drafted. He will start for you next year. When Jared Cook and his $8 million is gone, Josh Hill can still be a tight end backup because that's what he is. He can block his ass off, but he's suspect anyway else. He only good in situational roles. This guy is the future at the tight end position. Big, can block, has soft hands, and is tough to bring down. That's another thing people are not talking about. Who that to you, Brian Vickner? I see you in the building as well. And all the rest of the family members joining there. Roscoe, good to see you, Roscoe. Chris Rooks. Hamilton Buchanan, big ups to you as well. Hit the like button, family, as well. And if you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe. And I seen one of the family members, was that 985 Live, said he joined the Patreon. Thank you. Appreciate you, 985, for joining the Patreon as well, brother. Much love to you on that. Thank you. Now, that's my spill on it. And then, of course, the final guy is the quarterback, which is basically self-explanatory. He's just another Taysom Hill. Why would you need two Taysom Hills? Isn't one Taysom Hill enough? Why would you then?
It's the sorcery of Sean Payton. We're gonna call it that.
Why would you need two Taysom Hills? That makes no sense. And like I said earlier in the show, why am I drafting Taysom Hills when I need to be looking for Drew Breeses or somebody on that level? I don't need to draft a Taysom Hill clone, a dude. And if you really wanted a quarterback that can do those things that a Taysom do, that does them better than a Taysom does, why you didn't move up and get hurt? I just don't. You mean to tell me you're gonna trade back into the 7th round to get this guy from Mississippi State who threw 11 touchdowns last year, but you gonna sit there like your ass is cemented to the seat when it come down to looking at Jalen Hurts, who won 38 games in 4 years with 2 championships. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like maybe they're gonna do something in free agency or something.
It's got to be
like,
something.
I can off the bat tell you that guy is not going to be the future.
Yeah, well,
like, I mean, you never know, but I can just see him as like a role player, like Taysom Hill, because I've seen a lot of his footage, and he's freakishly athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He's freakishly athletic.
Yeah.
He's a big guy too.
Yeah,
like I seen him catching wide receiver passes.
Yeah, he played a little. Yeah, he played a little wide receiver. But I'm asking you though, what? My thing is this: why in the hell are we picking Taysom Hill type players? Isn't one Taysom enough? What are you trying to do? If you really wanted an impactful weapon at the wide receiver core, why don't you go get an impactful wide receiver?
Maybe it's like you said. You're saying that
I'm saying Drew goddamn Brees. It's not supposed to be a thing like that. You're supposed to drizzle that in.
I know it's not, but like, dude, I can't say anything. I can only guess and say that maybe this is the high different pass calls and whatnot. Because like you were saying, Sean Payton likes to get rid of players so he can change things around. I'm pretty sure the NFL figured out Taysom Hill right now. So if you adding another Taysom Hill, you're adding 2 jokers. And last time I checked, a joker beats an ace. So you got 2 jokers on the squad. You can run any play you want to make, or you can even make up any play. Like, wouldn't that be weird having Taysom Hill throwing it to the fourth pick? Fourth QB.
It depends, bro. Right. Because remember they ran them plays. They had Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback and lined Drew Brees out at wide receiver with Taysom Hill on up. They had the 3 quarterback play when they put Drew at wide receiver. Teddy Bridgewater was lined up at quarterback, and Taysom Hill was on the opposite side. Remember that when they ran the 3 quarterback play out there? We know you wasn't gonna throw to Drew Brees. Come on, cut that out. Even the cornerback said, "Man, I'm gonna just lay up off this. I know he ain't gonna throw to him. He ain't got no speed."
Drew Brees get cracked.
I mean, come on. You mean you gonna line Drew Brees up at wide receiver? You know, Drew Brees has no speed. I mean, he can't. That's totally a misuse of his abilities. I mean, even when he has a wide open lane big enough for you to drive a car in, he will not scramble.
Hold on.
Drew goddamn
Brees
Brees.
Is not
your namesake. Boy, that spin. Remember that spin a couple years ago when he bust that spin? Boy, that spin was in slow motion,
ankles, man. I feel bad for them, man. I was like, Falcon's already a joke.
And you couldn't tell. Drew bust a slow motion spin on him. And they went
I can see him slow down.
I mean, he said, man, Drew about to spin. You know, I'm like, man, they fell for it. But I'm saying but that's the thing about Drew. Drew, and I've watched him for years. As the older he gets, the more cemented them feet are. He will eat, and then I got to give him credit because not last year, but the year before last year when Taysom really caught on And that running style started to catch on, and you seen Drew starting to scramble a little bit more than what he usually would. Drew would literally throw the ball toward, if there's nothing open, Drew could have 5 yards in front of him, nobody in front of him, and Drew will look at it and just see if he can find somebody. And if he can't find somebody, he's going to just throw it out of bounds. Drew will not.
Yeah, I remember that. He had 6 yards in front of him to run.
He will not run the ball. He was like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't care if you, like, Drew, just do it 3 times a game. Just scramble 3 times.
I will not die.
He will, I'm telling you, he will not do it. And but that's the thing about it. If you want a quarterback that can run in the athleticism of a mobile quarterback, then why are you not drafting those type of guys high? What's the you see the rationale I'm using here? Just hear me out on this one, family. Hear me on this one, because this is what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're willing to trade back into the draft at the bottom of the 7th round, using assets from next year to get a 7th-round Taysom Hill, why aren't you not able to use the same philosophy higher in the draft to get a guy that's 3 or 4 levels better than Taysom Hill? Jalen Hurts does all of that. He does all. He's not perfect, but neither is the goddamn guy that you're trading back in the draft to get a Taysom Hill clone. Taysom Hill thing was supposed to be a gimmick. A gimmick means sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. It's something you sprinkle into your main offense.
It works too well, though.
But you're not supposed. But the problem is, the reason why Taysom Hill is a thing is because he's doing the work other guys supposed to be doing. He's stealing snaps from other guys. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a tight end, and he's not a running back. His skill by trade is a quarterback. The reason why Sean Payton was using him at running back, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and running back is because he felt that he didn't have the explosiveness in the rooms based on the players they have. That people say Tre'Quan Smith is garbage. He trash. And I'm saying, well, how is
he's barely getting by?
I mean, could we look at this thing all the way? Let's look at it in the whole totality. Let's look at it all. If we're going to summarize, do it all, and let's use the whole totality of the mix, family. Let's use all the ingredients. It's the reason why Tre'Quan Smith is not excelling as a wide receiver. If you playing a deep wide receiver at slot, and he's not a slot guy, it takes a certain mentality to play. Guys, football guys know that. If you play in the slot, you better have your mind right. You got to be tough up here. And you know that anytime you catch the ball and slap, you could be hit by a lineman that can snap back and get you because you're running in there.
The Julian Edelman effect right there.
I'm telling you, you got to have that Julian Edelman mentality to play in that position. You got to have that. That guy doesn't have that. He was a deep threat at Central Florida.
Yeah, that's why I fear for Tre'Quan, because like every time he caught the ball, he looked like he was about to get murdered.
Because he did, right? That's what I'm saying. Like when he got his lip. Remember that game? He got his lip busted, and his helmet knocked off, and he got up like looking glassy eyed. I said, "See, that's it. You know, if you was a guy playing a slot, you would have known soon as you get the ball to get down." Notice when you see some of them guys, they catch the ball, and when they get the ball, they already tucking the ball and heading down. At least the rule of the referee protect you to a degree because you can't have the guy spewing on you. Thank you, CDW for EPCO EPCO for joining. Thank you, family. Hope I got that. Hope I got that tag right. But that's what I'm saying. It's a mentality to play the slot. You just can't take a deep threat wide receiver who usually going deep and then say, "Hey, you the slot man now. We gonna run you in the slot." And then this can say, "Hold on, I'm not used to playing on slot." Slot wide receivers know. They're usually the guys that have the best hands. They're usually the guys that know how to find the hole or find that little ground. And that's why Austin Carr was a guy that the Saints liked, because he was a slot man. And the guy that they picked up from the Titans who was released, Rasheed Matthews, who retired, he was the perfect slot because he understood, in order to play the slot, how to find the holes to hide in to catch the ball and how to know how to make moves and get down if you see somebody coming. It's an instinct, a feel, the guys that's imposing, that's coming down on them. They got the feel to know when guys are coming. They know how to get down or find a guy and catch the ball and be all the way going down so the guy just have to touch him. You see what I'm saying? They every now and again they'll get hit, but they also realize that there's danger around there. Danger, there's danger around here. Traquan doesn't have that. He's simply a deep threat. And when you plan him as a slot, you are messing with his confidence. And you can see that he's suffering with confidence issues. Because if you could do that at Central Florida, you could do it in the league. And then another thing is, why would you have sorry ass Ted Ginn Jr., who caught 27 passes last year, playing ahead of him, and you saying this guy is the future, but you know Ted Ginn's not gonna be on the team next year. Why is he still playing? He ain't producing nothing. You should have put Traquan Smith out there. At least he would have had snaps playing next to Mike Thomas. He would have had more familiarity in a starting capacity with the team. Then you add the Taysom Hill component to it. Taysom Hill plays wide receiver more than he plays anything else. So if you got Taysom Hill out there running around as a wide receiver, then who is he stealing snaps from? He's not stealing Mike T snaps. He's not stealing Ted Ginn Jr. snaps. The other receiver is Traquan Smith. So how the hell is he supposed to develop if he's not on the field? In practice, you don't get you get really good when you in the live game in real live action. They've often said it's very hard to simulate real live NFL action because everything's so fast. The only way you'll get accustomed to that is if you are competitively and consistently in that area dealing with that to get used to that timing of everything going on. Not spot duty here, spot duty there. I'm just saying, man, look at it in the whole totality, man. Not just looking at, and this whole thing about Taysom Hill. Getting this guy here, if you could trade to get a quarterback, low, you can trade one to get high. That's all I'm saying. And if you'd have brought Jalen Hurts in, Jalen Hurts, you could have groomed him into a really good quarterback in a Saints quarterback-friendly system. He also has the ability to be able to run when nothing is there. And he's, in most times, the fastest guy on the field. I'm speaking from personal experience about Jordan Hurts because I watched him play for 4 years, 3 of which he was kicking the LSU Tigers' ass every year. They couldn't, and when the Tigers had Jamal Adams and Devin and all them on there, we could not do nothing with that dude. That dude running around supreme talent. You know, throwing 300-400. I remember him throwing 300-400 yards and 3 or 4 5 touchdowns in the game. They he can't pass. I'm saying he can't pass. But Philly,
I hated Alabama those 4 years. I was like, yeah,
that dude was executing that. You know, thank you. Appreciate you, Dada. Thank you, fam, for that donation. Thank you, fam. He says, Mike Tielli says, we were in contact with veteran quarterback and believe we assigned him after the draft. What do you think, Big Q? Well, I mean, a veteran quarterback, I hope it ain't Joey Flacco. That's all I got to say. I hope it ain't Joe Flacco. That's all I said because.
Dude, how old is Joe Flacco?
Oh, my God.
He looks like he's 40. He plays like he's in his 40s.
Well, I hope it ain't Joey Flacco. That's all I got to say. Thank you for that, Dad. Appreciate you, family. I most hopefully not. But that's my spiel on it. I just think that the Taysom Hill thing is supposed to be just sprinkles on the cake. It's not the whole cake. It's not meant to be the entire cake. It's just supposed to be something that makes the cake taste better. It's not supposed to be anything else but that. But to try to turn that into a form of offense when you need to go back and put the tight end packages back out there. You need to see if you can find another Darian Sproles type of guy that can help out with Kamara. You need another skilled running back where you could be able to put Kamara in space as a wide receiver and use your other fantastic, talented running back that way as well. Learning how to run 3 running back system like the San Francisco 49ers did when they had those 3-headed running back attacks that they used in the playoffs and throughout the whole season that the Saints couldn't stop. Nobody could stop that. But they were able to use it effectively against people all the season long. Why you just using one running back? Nobody does that no more. Use the 3 running back head system, especially you can use Dwayne Washington in the fourth, later in the second half of the game when defenses are already tired. Nobody won't tackle no guy that run hard as he do. Throw Latavius Murray in there.
Put Taysom Hill in the run.
I'm saying, I mean, you got all the talent you need, bruh. I mean, what's the problem? You're not putting them in the situations to succeed. And that's what Brandon Marshall was saying, is that Sean Payton hurts his team. There is no reason and no rhyme of intelligible thought why a guy like Alvin Kamara should be in the game on 3rd and 1 running against a wall. And I've often kept saying that all season long. Alvin Kamara, 3rd and 1, naked back there by himself, and everybody lined up there. And he tried to run Alvin Kamara in there to get 1 yard, and then he get tackled for a loss. And then I'm like to myself, are you kidding me, bro? Come on, seriously, bro. You have a fullback. You have a fullback that you're paying that's on your team right now. You have a 6'3", 230-pound running back who was created to get averaging 4 to 5 carries, yards per carry. And you got Elvin Kamara running the ball on 31. That's what I'm talking about, dysfunction. It's supposed to be certain plays set up for certain guys. Why? Because you can get the most out of that player if you put him in that play. You get maximum value out of that play if you use Kamara in space. There is no reason why I would put Latavius Murray in space. That's not what he does. He is a north-south one-cut runner who you put in a position with a fullback and you hit it with the run. That fullback hits that linebacker at that second level, and then all you know is Latavius Murray is at the third level running up against defensive backs. And that's where you want him at. So, I mean, it comes down to knowing how to use the talent that you have. You have the talent. Use the talent. Develop the talent. I'm just saying, man, it's just what it is. Go ahead, Drew. I'm gonna let you talk on it, brother.
Yeah, that is true. You're very right. You're very right. You know, that's why a lot of fans like Taysom Hill, because he's more so explosive. But in a sense, though, you taking too much options and practice from the rest of the team. Like those run plays you see with Taysom Hill, like why are you running Taysom Hill on third and run instead of running Latavius Murray, or instead of running Alvin Kamara? But when you they got 2 rows for Taysom Hill, that's why I was saying like our wide receivers were trash. That's why we got Emmanuel Sanders. I was like, why not just put Taysom Hill in as the number 2 and we'd be all right? At least I was hoping that. But you see what I'm saying, though, man? Because, like, there's too much going on. And especially if you're drafting a quarterback that's pretty much a Taysom Hill 2.0, but that's like, 8 years younger or something like that?
I'm just floored by the logic of they drafted this guy and then called him Taysom Hill 2.0, and nobody says in their mind, where's Drew Brees 2.0? Why am I drafting quarterbacks like Taysom Hill when I need to? If I'm so in love with Drew Brees. Now I'm Sean Payton, right? I'm playing the role of Sean Payton right now, and I'm so in love with Drew Brees that I beg him to come back for another year. Remember, it was Sean Payton. Remember, I'm a history guy, and I have a good memory, so I can pull up stuff that most people, they can throw a bunch of information at me, and I still methodically walk through it. I remember what you say, Sean Payton. I remember what you said when you said it. And I've listened to hundreds of interviews for Sean Payton. I played hundreds of interviews for doing this show for over 5 years. And I tell you, I know this dude because I've heard enough of them. And when you hear enough of somebody, you kind of get a feel for them to know where they're going to go with it. But Sean Payton, to me, in the mentality of this team, it should not have been looking to draft a Taysom Hill 2.0. They should have been doing their best to find a Drew Brees 2.0. Somebody like that. They have a lot of good quarterbacks that's still undrafted that the Saints was talking to that you can be absolutely to get it. And that's my mentality. Taysom Hill is not supposed to be a thing. And when I'm saying not supposed to be a thing, I'm saying it's not supposed to be a thing that you're relying on. And it's not a concrete portion of the offense. Let's go back and get some of these plays, the 3 tight end packages. We need that. The 3 tight end quarterback packages. How about getting some more talented, explosive wide receivers in the wide receiver room so we can go back to using 4 and 5 wide receiver sets? How about that? Instead of drafting Taysom Hill 2.0, how about developing the wide receiver room where we can go 4 wide receivers or 5 wide receivers deep? Seriously, what happened to that? How about going the 3 running back way when we have 3 really skillful running backs that we can cycle in and out to keep you off balance like the 49ers do? How about that? I'm just saying it's where is the thinking on if you love Drew so much that you begged him to come back so you can then develop Taysom Hill, who's the future, but then pay Drew 2 years, $50 million, and then Taysom Hill sits out here on a tender for 4.67 when Sean Payton said that he was going to sign him, have him sign before free agency starts. I remember all this stuff when most people don't, that he was going to sign him before free agency started, that they wanted to get a deal done. He's still waiting out there. Nobody wanted to waste a first round draft pick pulling Taysom Hill in because the QB market was so rich this year in terms of veteran QBs where you could trade to get an Andy Dalton or somebody like that for less than the first round draft pick if you really wanted them. There's a Cam Newton out there. You know, there's a Jameis Winston out there. I know these are not attractive people in terms of play for us, but somebody else, yes. But you have Taysom Hill on the first round tender. And then one of the things is that's for a 4.67 million. Taysom, it's more money than Taysom's made in his whole career that he's going to get. And he's not trying to sign that deal because it's a 4.67 1-year chicken tender that he'll sign, and it's for 1 year this year. So what happened to the talk about Taysom Hill being a franchise? Do you treat your franchise quarterback like that? You know, well, them people that saying, oh, Q, man, you don't know what you talk about. Taysom Hill is the franchise. He is the future of the team. Do you treat your franchise quarterback like that? Do you issue him
very conniving, man.
I'm merely reminding the people about what's going on. Do you treat Taysom Hill like that if he's really a valuable commodity of the team? And guess how he feels that you draft a clone of him that can do the same thing? How would you feel if you go to work and you had a job there and you was having problems with your job, and the next thing you know, there was a person that showed up at your job that did everything that you did? How would you feel then? Huh? Would you feel that security blanket? Would you feel all of that? No. You'd be like, man, I can't believe these, brought somebody on here that could do exactly what I do. Huh? Do you know the feeling is that the X is coming? So me and you can't make a deal. So I bring in a guy that can do the same thing with you. And we thinking they're going to run 2 Taysoms? Come on, man.
They might.
Come on, bro. This deeper than this because Taysom Hill wants to be a quarterback. And I kept saying, listen, Taysom, listen to me. If you don't believe what I'm saying, talk to your homeboy Teddy Bridgewater. Huh? If you was the franchise quarterback, why did Sean Payton, why did Sean Payton turn around and try to renegotiate with Teddy Bridgewater before he signed with the Carolina Panthers if you were the franchise? Huh? Answer that one. Why was he trying to negotiate with him and Mickey Loomis trying to negotiate with Teddy Bridgewater if you the franchise? Huh? And if you the franchise, why you still sitting out there unsigned? Huh? Because you don't want that 1 year deal. Because you know the Saints going to sign you to a 1 year deal and that'll be the end of it. Why else would they draft another you? Huh? They just love you that much that they had to have another guy like you? Don't work like that. Cutthroat business. Remember Gettleman, the dude that is the general manager, used to be with the Panthers, and now he's the general manager of the Giants. Remember what he said about OBJ? They signed him to a contract. We don't sign him to trade him. What did happen? What happened after that months later? They traded him to the Browns. And they said, Getman, I thought you said that you wasn't going to trade them. You can't believe them. They liars. You can't believe. All they believe. See, it's good business. It's square business. And people, you got to stay away from people who say, listen, baby, I'm going to keep it real with you, baby. This is all business. It's not personal. If anybody's saying that, lay up off them. Don't do business with them. Don't do business with or don't mess with people that tell you if they do you wrong, say it's all business, nothing personal. And my thing is, if all business is not conducted in square business, then there's no business at all. There is no distinction between doing good, being a good person, and then when it comes to business where you can do whatever you want. No, don't work like that. It's a positive thing for all. If it's all good. You can't say and make a differential or cut the line down and say I could be disagreeable when it come down to business, but I can be good when it come down. No. You got to do it right the whole goddamn way through. And that's why I point out in our land base, the executives too, because people have a way of thinking like the team when they don't want to pay the players, or they're saying what the players' value is. The players out there getting their ass knocked off. What the owner's doing, what the general manager's doing, sitting up there with suits on in the air conditioned suite somewhere, eating a spread. You ever been to an NFL suite? I've been to NFL suites before, and they got a whole spread lined up there. They got every liquor you can drink, beer you can drink. They got spread food, all you can go over there and get you whatever you want, eat and sit there and stuff your face for the summation of the game. You can sit in air condition, or you can walk out on the out there on the balcony and watch the game. They still got flat streams there. It's a lap of luxury while the guy on the field sweat his ass off. But at the end of the day, the guy on the field, he dealing with concussion and brain issues and worrying about walking straight.
That, man. You should cover the NFL. Like, imagine if the NFL had the same way contracts go in NBA. I swear, everybody will be held accountable, man.
That's true. And
like how LeBron James did it. He literally broke it.
Yeah, and he had to fight for it too now. But he had to get to a point where he had to use some power moves too. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, you can't get into those areas there unless you're incredibly skilled in terms of using your ability to get you. That's how LeBron got to that level, because he's a good businessman and he got a lot of relationships on the side that are very disagreeable and some that are very agreeable. But that's the world if you won't partake in it. My thing is, I don't want to partake in nothing disagreeable that's going to leave a mark on me. So I would rather create a world of our own that we survive when you don't have to do none of that old shady stuff over there. And we know what we're talking about over here. But I just think to a degree, when you talk about the owners don't have caps on their salary. They make billions and they don't get taxed. I often said on this show, I keeps it 100% real. We're going to talk about the Saints. We're going to talk about the Saints. I go in on the non-taxing. I go in. I know the fact that they don't pay. I know for a fact they don't pay rent on that Superdome. They don't pay for the lights in that Superdome. They don't pay for the water on that Superdome. They don't pay for the renovations in that Superdome. You do. We do. There's $100 million renovation process going on in the Superdome where they put mirrors, windows, and all that shit around there, changing out them old stairs and putting in. All that's expensive. They talking about totally refitting certain areas where it can become modernized. Where that money coming from? Coming from you. Coming from you.
Right.
Coming from you.
The people.
The people. But that's the thing. You are the lifeblood of the entire thing. But the con game is to teach you that you're not. That you're not important in the grand scheme. And we often realize and say, oh, this guy is here. This guy is that. Guy's a skip. This guy is a star. This guy is this, that, and the third. And I'm looking and I said, that's all an illusionary bunch of junk. It's about the people. It's always been the power with you. You are the lifeblood of the entire industry. You can't work. Look how the country falling apart. Look how you ain't working. You ain't because you drive everything. It's you. Recognize your power, man. Recognize who you are and understand that the system is not in control. You are. The system is merely an inanimate tool, something like a hammer. A hammer cannot build a house by itself. You buy a hammer, the hammer just a tool. It can't do nothing without the hand and the energy building it to put that house together. And that's what the system is. System not easy. It's just merely a tool. And the people that is easy, the tool becomes either it can build a house with it or you can use it to hammer somebody goddamn brains in. One thing is a positive and the other thing is a negative, depending on what the situation is. You might be in self-defense. I don't know. But if it's anything disagreeable to that point, you know what I mean. But I'm saying the people drive this thing. Just pay attention and look at how the state of the economy is. Look how the economy is falling. The stock market's falling through the floor. The petroleum industry is falling to the floor because you're not driving. Merely imagine how you're chosen to not interact in certain things can control it, then ultimately just make them decide to fix it. When you become aware of the situation, you can change it. And it don't take a long change. This can happen overnight. But we give all our power to people we don't even know. I don't know this guy talking about this stuff up here on TV. You talking about this guy is the number one doctor on this, that, and that. I don't know who that dude is. I had to do some research and found out I don't like his ties. I ain't talking about the ones he put on top of his shirt. I'm talking about his relationships and what these little groups that he tied to. But it takes people who are informed. It's a critical thinking, informed people, because it's always been a series of things to try to control the narrative. They want to control the narrative and get you to play along. Like they the script writers. Remember this. The authority, simply the root word of authority is author. Author is a person that writes, whether it's books, laws, or anything. If he has the authority, how does an author become an authority? Because of you. You say, okay, I'll let you do this. Then they write the rules and regulations, which they don't follow by. That's why a lot of them are richer than you, because they don't get taxed and you do. They own their stuff and you don't. And I'm saying you might buy this or do that and do this. We should all be getting checks from the Saints is what I'm saying. Everybody that has something to do with building an arena, if your tax money went to that, everybody should be getting taxed. Billions of dollars coming in and out of that building. You should be getting checks. You should be getting money. Why aren't you not getting money? It was your tax money that built it. That built the skyscrapers, that built it. The Benson Tower that sits next to it, do you know how they got that? They got that because the state gave them that building for pennies on the dollar. They fixed it up, and then the state rented out offices from them who the Saints renovated the building. They got it for next to nothing. Business, man. Because we're not thinking like we supposed to be thinking. And I'm glad that this is happening. Not glad in terms of that, but when they took the sports away from you, the bread and circus, it forced you to not have it, so you weren't distracted. So it forced you to start paying attention. So everybody just became awake all at once. Once the distraction was gone, they didn't factor in that. See, because they have so much disdain for you intellectually speaking. They don't think that you're going to read the books that they write that tell you exactly what they're going to do. They don't think you're smart enough to read it, or even you smart enough to do anything about it. But I'm going to leave it alone. But I'm saying from a sport perspective, is that we as a people, it all starts with the ability to think and be able to rationalize. We have to have critical thinking. And I think that's a part that a lot of us bring into the fold. If you're going to talk about sports or you're going to talk about all this stuff, it's not separated, it's all together. It's all in this big thing called life. I would not dare take my critical thinking and cut it off when they're talking about sports. That's like, it's like the same thing with people buying cars or buying houses. Would you go into a house and just you want to buy a house, but you comfortable with just seeing the outside of it? You ain't gonna go look at it. You ain't gonna check the pipes. You ain't gonna get somebody to look at the roof. You ain't gonna get somebody, you're gonna just buy a house just by looking from the outside. Yeah, I'm gonna buy this house. You ain't gonna go look inside. It may have holes in the walls, termites and all this kind of stuff. The air conditioner might not work. Hell, you might not have walls in that some gun. You gonna buy, of course not, Q. That's crazy. That's stupid. Of course I'm gonna look inside of it. Then why don't you do that with everything? Sports, politics, religion, everything. Why do you stop? Why do you stop there when you wouldn't stop looking at that house? You wouldn't buy a car without driving it. But why do you stop there? You would do it there, but stop everywhere else. That's all I'm saying. Carry that mentality in everything you do and get a bang out of life and get more control out of life. Control over your life in more full, because we can't advocate our stuff to these people because they dangerous, man. They're evil. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah, family. But Drew, you got any more closing thoughts, fam? Before we end the show, fam.
Yeah, man. Y'all trust the process until Sean Payton not running the ball. Y'all start a riot.
There you go, man. We're gonna keep on him, bro. Because hopefully, if he would have just came out and said, "Man, I drafted Ruiz because we intend to run the ball." If it's saying we about protecting Drew Brees, that's one thing, But I don't want to hear you talking about protecting Drew Brees, because you should have been doing that. It should be about you wanting to run the ball. If you say that, everybody that's in the Saints Nation will say, "Oh man, we rich it now. We like it now." But that's your coach. That's our coach. That's what he would do. So thank you, brother, for calling. Drew goddamn Brees. Much love to your family, and you be safe out there, bro.
You too, man.
Who that? That's Drew goddamn Brees, bro. One of the favorites of the great Saints think tank, man. And man, I tell you, man. It's just great all together, man, to be honest with you. Who that to the Black and Gold family members in the stream? Matt Fontenot, I see your family. Big ups to you. You like that zebra content. I'm telling you, family, I made mention. It just things come through me, brother. Like I said, man, it's a lot up here. And it just comes through. And, usually if I have an analogy, this is not scripted. This is, how long is this? But 2.5 hours, right? And family members out there know that we go as long as 4 or 5 hours of just me sitting up here running over stats and commentary. That's not a teleprompter show. I don't read from no goddamn teleprompter. Everything coming through is coming straight on up here. Every now and again, I jot down a note or write down a caller's name so I can remember the people, because a lot going on down here. And you may see me writing something down here, something come down. But most of this is all coming from up here, whether it's stats or stuff from history dealing with the Saints, position picks that I did research on is coming straight from here. I'm not a teleprompter man. I don't believe in that. And for obvious reasons too, Operation Mockingbird. But we have, but big ups to you, Matt. I know if you go, just Google it, you'll find that they got some leaders. They have leaders in the continent of Africa and many countries out there that are not treating their countrymen right. They're not treating their countrymen right. And they're guys that if you got hunters, rich people that hunt around the world, and you pay them, you could go into their countries and you could shoot a zebra or shoot some wild animal for a price. And this is real. And just Google, African leaders eating exotic meats, and you'll see that they eat zebra and all kind of stuff, man. It's crazy. People think they can do anything. It's crazy, man. I blew somebody's mind. I was talking about tankers, and I said, man, I can remember about 7 years ago, I came across something I was reading that stuck with me, and it was the fact that they had these big giant water tankers from China that was coming to America and getting water out of the Great Lakes and bringing it back to China so they could drink it because the water was so polluted. I said, huh? What? That's not true. And they were getting it for free. And that woke me up to a lot of stuff going on in the world. So if you like that one, if you like the zebra, chew on that one for a little bit. But anyway, family, big ups to you. I see all the fams here. Is OG Big Dog, who that to you, fam? Good to see you as well. Travis Daisy, I see you, Travis, who that to you as well. Let's see who else we got, family there. DLP said Barbecue Rhino. I'm telling you, man, we live in a crazy place. This place is absolutely insane. And the true history of the place in which we live would absolutely blow your minds. How wondrous this place that we live on here, how old it is, and the things that have happened and are going on now. It's just absolutely amazing, to say the least. Who that nation? Who that to you? We say we just signed a running back from Notre Dame, Tony Jones Jr. Yeah, we covered it, bro. In just a second, I'm gonna go over the latest lease. Trail Hatch, who that to you, Trail? Big ups to you. I see your family in the building. Verlin, what up, Verlin? I see your family. Big ups to you. Van Ward said, I think Sean and Mickey were saying he's their future to keep him happy, trying to keep T happy. Sean Payton don't even call him a quarterback. He calls him H-back. You see, and that's the cold part of it, bro. Why the deception? That's the problem I have. Why the deception? If I was practicing deception on you, you wouldn't like that. And I'm saying to myself, why the deception? Why are you trying to appease him to be a gimmick guy? Tell him the truth. Say, listen, Taysom, we still, I still got you under contract. Listen, we're going to try to develop you behind Drew, but really, we don't see you as a quarterback. You need a little bit more work at the quarterback position. That'll make him really start working at the quarterback position. But I got a question for you. And this is just me, Big Q. And I'm saying to you, how is he supposed to, this for the nation, how is Taysom Hill supposed to get better at a quarterback if he's not playing quarterback? How? You got him playing wide receiver. You got to play running back. You got to play tight end. When is he supposed to play quarterback? Even when he lined up at quarterback, the majority of the times he's a running back. I'm saying, when is he supposed to learn the position in practice? You got to execute it in the game. And it's deception. And that's why I called it out and warned him about it. And I lay out the examples about Sean Payton going back to talk to Teddy Bridgewater during the free agency period, trying to sign him back. After alienating him before, go back and listen to all of the shows. Go back and listen to the shows with me saying that's why it's cataloged the way it is. Because the family member saying, man, you called a lot of this stuff from day one. Nobody was talking about Taysom Hill and Sean Payton lying about it, and he was calling them out. Go back and listen to the shows. My dog Teal said that. Teal the legend was like, man, you called this shit. And I said, bro, listen, the bottom line is that if I know this team is my team. I know how it works, and I know people. I know how the mind works. And I knew you doing that was deception. So I warned Taysom Hill. I told him, hopefully he got the message, meaning we put it out on a live stream. And by the way, Saints players listen to this show. And we sit up here saying, oh, they're fans. Saints players. No, it's the other way around, brothers. It's brothers and sisters. It's not the fact that you are honoring them that way. They're honoring you. You are the lifeblood, not them. Without you, they die, not the other way around. They need you. I understand that principle. So if I'm talking about the Saints and problems, you don't think people, the brass, are listening? These are information people. And if they can find credible information from anywhere, they'll try to use it. They incorporate it, even if it's free. You don't have to hire some asshole to come up in there and say, well, listen, you need to run the ball more. Sean, you need a balanced attack. You got Big Q from the Sports Coma and the Great Saints think tank ran in upon your head telling you what time it is. Because I want you to succeed. I want the team to succeed. I want the city to succeed. I want the state to succeed. I want the Great Saints think tank to exceed at everything they're doing, because I believe in prosperity. I believe in success. I believe in the positive things of life and the empowerment, the true outright empowerment of the people. And when the fan base and the family base is empowered, the whole structure is empowered. And then everybody want to be a part of that, because there's empowerment there. There's life there. There's success there. There's information there. There's things that drive us there. And don't think like you looking up at the stars like, oh, look at this, a star over there. They're nothing without you. Nothing. Nothing without you. None of them. None of the stinking politicians or the gutless Satanist celebrities. None of them. They're nothing without you. You draw back your energy and your power from them, they will wither and die. The power is with you. It's always been with you. But the system creates the illusion that you don't have it. That's what it is. I hate to get a spiel about it, or perhaps I love to get a spiel about it. But the truth is the truth. There are a lot of players that listen to the show. There are people that listen to the show that are in the building that don't even do football. They do analytical work, graphic work, ticket work, all kind of stuff that drive the money from the people, that get the money from the people to get that stuff set up. And we continue to grow for 5 years, and we got a credible message. And I'm saying we, I ain't talking about Big Q. I'm talking about everybody involved in the process, all the Great Saints think tank family members, Scoob, Dada, Eric, Derek, Sean C, Sean D, Trell, Tramal, Till, everybody, man. There's so many of them, Crass, Joey, everybody, man. It's so many people that I can't name, and I'm so blessed and happy to have you all. Like I always tell you every show, I thank the Most High for you, man. I really do. I love you and I appreciate y'all. That's why I come up here for 2 or 3 hours and talk and give you the best that I got, baby. Anita Baker, baby. Give me the best that I got, baby. Give me the best that I got. But anyway, let me go ahead and move on to this next one. I'm gonna kind of update this next thing right here with the appearances. And I'm gonna go over this list right here for the family members that might have not known about some of the Saints signings that happened. I'm gonna share my screen with you. And these are some of the tracking report for the undrafted guys up to the minute. Right now it's 9 o'clock at night Saturday, and this is a list of undrafted players that the Saints have added thus far. Wide receiver Marquez Callaway from the University of Tennessee. He had 92 passes in 42 games, but he has the ability to punt return and kick return. He averaged 13.6 yards per return. He had 3 touchdowns for the Vols. Very interesting option right there, just in case we have problems with our boy Deontay Harris, but also have another speedster in the wide receiver room is also a good measure. Offensive lineman Kelvin Throckmorton from Oregon. This guy started 45 games at tackle, 40 of them at the right side. And he's a guy that they project as a backup guard, but he could play the center position as well. Offensive lineman Jordan Steckler from Northern Illinois. He played both tackle and guard, and he offered depth for the team as well. Big defensive tackle Malcolm Roach from Texas. Now, if that sounds familiar, we got a big offensive tackle from Texas as well. His name is Malcolm Brown. So if you put Malcolm Brown and Malcolm Roach together, you got Brown Roach. Defensive tackle Malcolm Roach, Texas. Roach needs to be coached up quite a bit, but his natural athletic, man, that dude caught hell when he was coming up. He had to. Big Roach, what up, Big Roach? I mean, he had that caught hell with that last name Roach. Good grief, man, you got to spray that Roach. I can just come up with like a million different Roach jokes right now, but I'm gonna leave it alone. But it's natural, but it'd be nice to have a Roach on the Saints. I can't help myself. Natural athleticism, not many athletes can measure. He's 6'2", 300 pounds, but his 40-yard time was 4.84. Pretty good. They got a Roach in the building. I can't help myself. Offensive lineman Darren Paulo from Utah is 6'5". He has quick feet like a dancing bear. Like, I love that term. When you consider this new little term they've been kicking for the last several years, they call it a dancing bear. Good offensive lineman with good feet are now dancing bears. I love that. But he will come in and bring a little help there as well. Running back Tony Jones from Notre Dame. Now, actually, this is really a solid move. Remember always to watch out for the Saints undrafted running backs, because this is Coach Roach. Coach Roach. Hey, yeah, Coach Roach. What's going on, Coach Roach? The Roach King. I'm going to cut it out, man. All right, Tony Jones. Jones didn't start until 2019, but he averaged 6 yards per carry. How about that? 144 carries at 27 yards. This is good. Tony Jones is actually a pretty good running back as well. Excellent running back. Cornerback Keith Washington from West Virginia. He played in 22 games for the Mountaineers for the last 2 years. He had 5 interceptions and had 18 total pass defense. So he had a cornerback. You get another linebacker prospect, Joe Bachie from Michigan State. He's a limited athlete, but produced well in college, meaning he's not that athletic, but he had 18 and a half tackles for loss in each of the final 3 seasons. And he led the Spartans in total tackles, which means that he makes things happen. Roach Motel. Oh, y'all cut it out, man. Oh, man. Coach Roach in the Roach Motel. Oh, my goodness. Brown Roach. I couldn't help myself with the Roach jokes, man. Come on, man. Oh, man, that's too funny. Wide receiver Jawan Johnson from Oregon. He transferred to Oregon from 2019. He played at Penn State for 4 years. He'll be reunited with Tommy Stevens, who caught 111 passes in college. He gained 1,509 yards. The dude is 6'4", 230 pounds, and he has a 40 time of 4.58. So I'm telling you, right, you know, that's pretty big. And the coach asks, say, man, where's Malcolm at? Yeah, Coach Roach right behind you. Where you at, Roach? Where you at, Roach? Oh, my goodness. You're going to have fun with that one. Defensive end Gus Cumberlander from Oregon, big offensive lineman, 6'7", 256 pounds, big, but kind of has a linebacker weight to him. He appeared in 30 games. He recorded six and a half sacks. He had 2 fumbles recovered in his time with the Saints. And then, of course, 2 more acquisitions. Defensive back Tino Ellis from Maryland. He appeared in 32 games in 4 years with the Terps. He totaled 73 tackles and 21 pass defense. He had 1 interception, which returned for 44 yards. And he played at cornerback as well. And then, of course, there is a punter. Why would you have a punter there as well when you have Thomas Morstead there? But the Saints have a punter. Blake Gillikin from Penn State. Gillikin has a slim chance at best. He's not taking down Thomas Morstead. He's arguably the best punter in the NFL, but it's a huge opportunity to learn from Morstead and develop one of the game's better special teams coaches. I don't understand why Blake Gillikin is coming down here. We need to send him back to Gillikin's Island. But we know this is the current list, family of undrafted guys that the Saints signed after the NFL draft completed today, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the hell they call it, but it is what it is. But always getting flagged for encroachment. False start against defensive lineman Malcolm Roach for encroachment. Oh, that's too funny. That's funny as hell, man. We got hope in we got hope in the Roach. Roaches, Demi, go ahead, Demi. Roaches check in, but they don't check out. Oh, man, y'all crazy, man. I love it, man. Y'all crazy, man. Oh, man, that Roach dude, he gonna catch hell down here, I can tell you. If you're listening to the show, Roach, Big Roach, if you listen to the show, bro, I know it's all love, family. Welcome to the Black and Gold family, man. It's all love. It's all love, and I guarantee you're going to have the #1 selling jersey in about a year or so. And everybody going to have Roach on their back. You're going to have Roach on their back. Big Roach. And man, y'all crazy, man. But I'd like to thank all y'all, man, for joining the stream today. Oh, man, y'all cutting up, man. Yeah, they gonna say when he sacked the quarterback, Roach sacked the quarterback got sacked by a Roach today. Oh, man. Oh, y'all terrible. Y'all are terrible, man. Y'all are terrible. Yeah, the quarterback. Yeah, did you see Roach? Man, Roach sacked the quarter. They had a Roach to sack the quarterback today. I absolutely love it, man. Oh, man. Dwight, what up, Dwight? He said the quarterback from Mississippi State is the one ran all over LSU. No, the dude that did that was from Ole Miss. He was the one that did from Ole Miss. This guy from Mississippi State, very athletic. I remember him. Very inconsistent though, in his time there as well. But it's just my logic, man. Why would you need 2 Taysom Hills, man? I don't, unless Taysom Hill ain't happy, something deeper behind that. We're gonna get to the bottom of it because time is gonna show up. Throw up the Roach. Oh, Dominic. Oh, Raid. He's spitting that Roach spray. Oh, man, y'all terrible, man. He gonna be endorsed. Yeah, Irvin, you're right. He gonna be endorsed by Arkin. Just like Swabe dropped that Jake Fromm from State Farm. Man, that's perfect. Roach is gonna get an endorsement deal with Arkin. That's just like Keith Sweat. I'm not Keith Sweat. Montez Sweat got a deal with the deodorant company, Old Spice. Montez Sweat, the defensive lineman from the Redskins, he got a deal with Old Spice. This for real. He did. He really did. Montez Sweat got a deal, a deodorant deal with Old Spice. Look it up. They had the little commercial. It was funny, man. But that just makes too much sense, man. Roach Patrol. Yeah, that's that. Oh, Sir Roach a lot. Roach infested locker room. We got a Roach in the hood. We got a Roach in the building. Oh man, there's so many things, man. See, we would have been terrible. We would have been terrible classmates to that kid, man. You do not understand. That's why he played football, because he was angry all the time. He'll tell you, man, listen, man. He'll say, Roach, why did you decide to play football? Well, you understand, man. You know, I had a tough childhood. Yeah. I had to find a way to channel all my energy. I had a lot of anger in me as a youngster, so I played football to let all that anger go. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Roach, and we hoping that you'll have a better career in the league, okay? Thank you. But Big Roach out. I'm telling you, man, he played football because he was an angry man from all them Roach jokes he got growing up. I'm telling you. See, we wrote the Roach Motel. Welcome to the Roach Motel. Yep. And that's what it would have been. We would have been terrible classmates because I'd have been letting them have it left and right. What up, Big Roach? What up, Big Roach? Man, don't call me that. That's your name, man. Oh, man. But anyway, family, listen, man, I thank y'all for joining the show tonight. That'll be just about it. Just over 2 hours and 47 minutes here in the live stream. And I just want to thank everybody for joining the stream. And before we go, I always shout out my little endorsements, little commercials. Oh, yeah. So this is the thing. A Pro Media Net, we also have Roach R Us. That's terrible. Roaches R Us. Puff, puff, pass the Roach. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's terrible. The Coach and the Roach. It sounds like a children's book, Tramal. The Coach and the Roach. Damn, Roach. Welcome to the team, Roach. Anyway, that's the thing, man. The Pro Media Network also has what we call Pro Radio on Spreaker.com, where you can listen to the shows and the audio formats. Like if you don't feel like watching the visuals, then the shows, we have a backlog of shows available through what we call Pro Radio on Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. Also, The Sports Coma is available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a lot of the great places where you can find podcasts are available. We are there as well. And also, Roach on the field. Also, let the family members know that if you enjoy the platform, and we do help you to become enlightened, because it's about enlightenment and empowerment and entertainment with me. And I do my best when we turn on the stream, man, to entertain people and also keep it real with the people. I think you deserve nothing less but excellence. I don't think you should let somebody half-ass you. I mean, if you come in, you know what I'm saying, I got to bring it 100% because you bring it 100%. And for that, I have to keep it real with you. Much love to you. Big ups to you. If you like the platform and you believe in what we are doing all together, please donate at patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. We have, you could donate $1 or whatever is in your heart to do to help the platform. Also, there's unreleased content that goes along with becoming a Patreon champion for the Sports Coma, as well as our other show, On Cue with Big Q, which I'm working on it now. It's still not done. It's halfway done. And we'll have a really good show for you guys coming up. If not tonight, tomorrow when it gets finished. I'm still working on a few audio clips. I wanted to play to kind of reinforce the information. Really good show, really nice show. It's only available to our Patreon members and our YouTube members as well. Not, just subscribers, but in the members section as well. You can hear On Cue with Big Q, as well as unreleased Sports Coma content, simply by joining our Patreon page at patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. That the link is in the description section below if you're interested in checking that out. And also, just to let the family members know, the Pro Shop is also available. And on the Pro Shop, we have well over 34, 35 different designs on everything. We got hundreds of products there at the Pro Shop. It's the official store of the platform. It's also another way of we keeping the platform funded to keep going further, stronger, faster, and to the future. We have, I think, some of the most brilliant, beautiful black and gold people in the building, and much love to you guys because you guys make it work. And I have a great team of people that surround me that help me to accomplish a lot. I know a lot of people thinking I'm doing a lot of this by myself, but trust and believe, a lot of great people assist in what I do here. Even though you just see me, you don't see a lot of their talent as well in the graphical department and other things, and in soliciting of different in the business behind it. So I thank you guys for everything you do. And if you're interested, please feel free to go to the Pro Shop. The link is in the description section below as well. Also the Cash App and PayPal if you're interested in that way. The Great Saints Think Tank shirt, and also Drew Orleans, that's out there. We have some more different versions of the Drew Orleans shirt and stuff that's coming up real soon that'll be available sometimes next week. So we'll continue to roll out new products and roll out new stuff to help fund the platform and keep going strong in the paint for the family members as well. So I like to thank all of you guys. Roach in the Pro Shop. Oh, y'all terrible. Well, man, much love. Boss Hog, who that to you? I see you, Boss Hog. 8 Ward, Zach 41. What up, fam? I see you. Appreciate you, family. Big ups to you from Baton Rouge. Flying roach. That's the worst ones, man. Flying roaches. Oh, man, them flying roaches are fearless, man. When I was a child, man, we stayed in the 9th Ward, man, and they had, I think that was the home of the flying roaches. Them damn flying roaches will fly, and they not scared of you. You scared of them. They will fly on you in a second. Flying roaches are terrible. They are the worst scourge ever, man. But anyway, thank you, man. Appreciate y'all, man, for all that y'all do. Thank y'all. Y'all beautiful. Appreciate y'all. And once again, it's been a terrific time. The last 3 days of coming out with the shows. And be looking out, fam. We're going to do a video real soon breaking down these draft picks and undrafted guys, showing you their pictures and profiles and stuff. We're going to be working on that right now. Hopefully it'll be ready sometimes Monday or something like that. For the Patreon people, we'll have it available. Live stream where we do it. We'll break it down. We'll go into it, family. So be looking out for that as well. And for our Patreon champions, pay attention to your email so when you get the notifications to tune in, because a lot of stuff we do on Patreon, we do it live, just to let you know. So I feel free to hit the like button, family. If you're not a subscriber to the Great Saints Think Tank, understand that I am offering you an invitation right now. Simply hit the subscribe button and join the Great Saints Think Tank. And this is the type of talks we have all the time. This is what we do. You go back and listen to the shows. This is all we do. Much love to my dog, TJ, over there from the Saints of the State of the Saints podcast. Much love to TJ. I'm gonna reach out to the brother, and maybe I'm trying to get TJ and NOS, another family member that shows love. Them brothers, them guys are awesome, man. They do great work. A lot of you guys are familiar with those guys. They are absolutely terrific. They know I know they're terrific. They know I respect their work, and they know and they all know what I say about being family. They are excellent. And you know, y'all know, I know y'all listen to them. Y'all know, like I know, they are terrific people, awesome people, great content, very intelligent too. I'm gonna see about arranging it with the fellas, the extended Great Saints Think Tank family members, as I like to call them, to reach out to them and do a show where everybody on there and we put all our collective minds together. I think that would be awesome, man. I would love to see that. And I don't think nothing like that has ever been done in the Saints kingdom, when you get some of the brightest brains from the Saints nation and put them together in the form. And I don't think that's ever been done before as far as the Saints stuff is concerned. So we'll see about that now. But I appreciate our family members for joining in. Thank y'all for all y'all support, for all the Patreon champions that are joining today. Thank you for all the people that hit the thumbs up. If you haven't, feel free to hit it. And please do me another service, family. Please take the show and feel free to share it on your social media feed. Take it, show it, and blast it out to Facebook or Twitter or Reddit or anywhere that you guys socialize. Take the show link with you and share with your friends and family members that love the Saints. So once again, thank y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be safe. And I'll see a lot of my extended family members on Patreon very soon. Peace out. Who dat?
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is Saints Super Bowl. Yeah.